Lucky for you, I buy these by the dozen.
Out of my way, Your Majesty.
Somebody call the doctor. Machine double on the shoulder. Master, teacher, I'm in trouble. Nobody got medicine. No, I'm not a cure. So I'll
Well, this is embarrassing.
I'm stuck with these voices, they're all in my head. All in my nothing's gonna free me from my imagination.
We're bringing it in today. It is VOT. We've had a long run. And of course, that title everybody wants to try and get overseas.
You then get to play into the LCQ, and teams from there get to go into Champions. So that's ultimately what the goal is for everybody.
Put in work!
Great.
When it comes to Rain, you're going to see them become the true champs of those.
Walking to two players as well. Reveals himself over towards Noz. It's going to bring Signed and Dragon. Wow, that's a good free fire through the wall.
Bobo.
We're coming for the #1 spot for OC Champions.
In possession, but they are starting to fall. Signed with the bloody free go. He finds 3.
Bonkers.
And he's looking. He's clearing. He might be able to stop it. Maybe a
Honey Badgers.
Honestly think we're better than everyone else at the moment.
Touching around these boxes, bring around the Rosie. They're also looking at one-way. Milky 1v3.
Fun Crew.
And it's easy in a one-on-one against Under. Oh my god, classic! He's done it!
Order.
We're expecting to come out on top of this qualifier, head back over to Asia and make the adjustments we need to make to hopefully head over to Europe.
Bronski is doing a good job of clearing out short. Knives come out after finding that op shot, and all of a sudden it starts to fall back on its head, and that's going to be that.
May be able to bring this back to a 2-on-1. He will. Connection from Panic and another to finish.
Not a bad choice, is it? He's cleared out long now, knows where the offensive is going to come from. 2 line up, RDW. You get the sense that this is going to be a real back and forth game. Showstop, the punter's gone deep. Snow getting on the defuse, Panic on the protection squad. And he gets both of them through the smoke as well.
Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome. We are finally here for the big boy of the year. It is the VALORANT Oceanic Tour Championships. Komodo back on your screen. An absolute pleasure to be here with you, Dion. How are you feeling today, mate?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling ready. I got some good sleep. We've had words with Crash as well and Temporal. They've hyped us up, ready for the observing from them here to Conky. But of course, I'll keep it short and sweet because we've got some teams that we want to see already in the server.
Absolutely. Cannot wait to dive into it. But of course, if you all have only just sort of dove in, weird, of course, you've been watching this entire thing, we're going to give you a cheeky little tournament explainer to run it all down.
Welcome to the 2022 VALORANT Oceania Tour, a year-long tournament circuit where the best players from Oceania battle it out for cash prizes, a place at the APAC playoffs with a chance to qualify for VALORANT Masters, and a shot at the global title. Teams can compete in up to 2 stages, consisting of open qualifiers, a regional group stage, and playoffs, each with their own AUD $25,000 prize pool. By placing high enough, they'll accumulate championship points to be one of the top teams fighting for a shot at the OCE Championship and a $30,000 prize pool. Those top teams go on to the APAC Last Chance qualifier, with the winning team invited to the VALORANT Champions, where the world's greatest compete to be named 2022's Global Champions, winning an as-yet undisclosed prize pool and true gaming glory. For more information, head to LetsPlay.Live/2022 VOT.
Gaming glory alongside a massive, massive opportunity to get back onto that international stage here for Order. But of course, Bobo looking to do it again. Sort of a little bit of a mix of some of the players, previously on that Bonkers side. But that is the big one, looking to jump back over to Asia and take on the best of the best. Some of the best in the world, in fact, from the APAC region. But of course, Komodo, the bag that is alongside it as well. Huge cash money that is coming in. I think actually the greatest prize pool that we've ever seen for a VALORANT event locally in Oceania so far. far. Already, just between the two teams in this grand final, Komodo, $19,000.
Yeah, it's like a difference of 3K when you think about it like that, with the also promise of that LCQ spot for first place, which is what a lot of these teams were fighting for throughout the course of the year, right? To get to that international stage. And for right now, that cash is going to assist these teams, you know, for whatever they want, really. But you would like to hope to think that they would use it for a little bit of, you know, their spending in towards overseas, you know, make it a really, really cool trip as well outside of just playing Valorant there. But as you mentioned, you know, this is kind of what we've all been waiting for. Money guaranteed, a big prize pool here for the boys. And I'm just really keen to kind of see who is going to be able to win this one, Conky, because if you think about it, these were the two teams that I would have expected to be in the grand final today.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and After Order obviously took a bit of a hit earlier on. You know, they've done the lower bracket gauntlet runs. So let's actually walk through that to give you guys an understanding of what we've seen since Wednesday earlier this week. Also, a massive shout out, of course, to our other casters who did run it through. Tony, Kit, Fox, Mac, and Pilski, the legends themselves, who, brought us through this narrative that we have on our screen right now. So Fun Crew 2-1 over Order. It was a crazy, crazy game on Wednesday, of course. And then Bobo, you know, getting the pressure put on them by Rain. Then down into that lower bracket, Order 2-1 over Bonkers. Kind of expected, I suppose you could say. Rain making their way through, which is a big statement over Honey Badgers, who have been looking really, really strong. But that sort of got them into that next stage here, Komodo, before we end up in this grand final.
Yeah, and of course, there's a couple of star-studded players in both of these rosters that have had some up performances and a couple that have had some kind of lesser performances that hopefully they're able to fine-tune and tweak coming in towards this grand final today. But, you know, just to kind of reiterate to a lot of people, this is grand final, which means it is best of 5. So there's a lot of chances, you know, in case you drop a map, you can still look to get this victory.
It's a super important thing, I think. You know, sometimes best of 5s can drag out a little bit. With a game like Valorant, it's punchy, it's short, and the maps are so important, right? You know, because it's not only just the map itself, it's the agents that slot into that map. And I think both these teams in Order and Bobo, Order is a really strong team, kind of where all 5 players are kind of somewhat the best of the best, I guess you could say, to a degree. Whereas on Bobo, they seem to have a little bit more of that sort of sound structure. You know, there's direct leadership and these kind of things, but maybe a little bit weaker on the fragging side. Whereas I think if both teams are firing on all cylinders, that's who's going to be winning today, as opposed to one team is firmly better than the other. But despite you guys knowing them all, we're going to reintroduce them once more, starting off, of course, with Bobo, again, who have been a fantastic sort of team. A couple of members in Noz and Scroll. Nice Hacks was meant to go, I believe. There was some visa issues at the time, but he's all ready to basically go now if it does sort of run through. But of course, as you know, really, really solid team. Dragon has been one of the ones stepping up. Noz being, you know, one of the greatest leaders, I would say, in our region that we've seen, and just consistency from the rest of the players as well, sort of slotting into their roles nice and comfortably as they lead into this grand final.
Yeah, and I think to touch upon that as well, you know, we're looking at this roster and we're looking who will we take out as kind of needing to be the player to not so much carry the team into the victory, but who needs to have the performance to really make sure that this team is going to be viable to get this grand final dub. And for me, it's Dragon. His consistency throughout this tournament and even tournaments leading up toward it has just always been really outstanding for me. And, you know, being able to adapt on these different agents that he comes out with, the jet nerf coming through, you're seeing players pick up Chamber. He's able to flex around that. And I think on the other side of that coin right now for Nice Hacks, yes, he's come back in towards this one a little bit, you know, recently to try and figure out how he's fitting in towards this roster right now. And it doesn't like he doesn't take away from Dragon's spotlight, but he does kind of, you know, fall by the wayside in the opposite effect. So I kind of want to see him be able to step up a bit today.
Yeah, Nice Hack certainly has his own flair, and a key member, you know, he will be one of the players. If he's not firing up, I wonder how Bobo will look. So we hope that everyone is operating as they need, because they've got some fierce opponents, as we all know. The previous representatives of our region in the previous competition at the APAC VCT that we did see a short time ago. Of course, it is Order. Again, 5 members of on the roster that are all insanely strong as individuals, right? You know, the leader in Texter, arguably, I would say, probably one of the best players in the region by far. And then, you know, Disco, Maple, Ronsky, and RDW. Ronsky and RDW being the newest additions. Ardy, fantastic on that Chamber. Ronsky still looking to pick up the Jet. But Komodo, I think I want to let you sort of touch on this a little bit. They tried to undertake some roster changes, which actually led to their demise against Fun Crew earlier in this tournament.
Yeah, so it's something that we saw and heard from Texter in yesterday's interview, which is something that I kind of wanted to pull away one of these players and have a little bit of a talk with them. But, you know, being dropped into the lower bracket, these guys had to play almost every day this week, and I didn't get the chance to talk with one of them. So I'm really happy that Pilski asked the questions yesterday that he did. Order have been figuring out what's going to be working best in their camp, right? And that was decided that they want to change up their agent roles. They want to see who's going to be able to maneuver where. So Texter moving off of the smoking role, RDW picking that up. For the first opening match of this tourney, you know, it didn't go to plan because they hadn't had enough prac leading in towards that. So they've fallen back onto what they knew and had enough time to prac leading into this. So it kind of gives me two streams of thought. Did they have enough experience over this week to revert back to those new lineups that they want? Or are we getting an Order that, you know, they've ran the roles overseas, they've ran the roles locally, and we know what to expect? I'm kind of hoping in this grand final, it might be a bit of both, but I'm expecting it to be the norm.
Yeah, well, look, the agent selections that I sort of saw back on that game on Wednesday was kind of a bit of a test to, you know, watching the they actually did play up against. You know, they had a takeaway of a win over Oasis in the opening of the tournament, and I think that was like kind of an underdog story to a lot of the players watching in that APAC region. You know, minced out by Paper X. That was a real good game, though. It was very exciting, and I kind of see some takes onto that roster now that we see, you know, the agent selections that are being pulled out by, you know, Forsaken, for example, on that Neon, and then, you know, over to the game against Boom, where it was close. It was that 2-1. Disappointing to see them go out, but, you know, they're the ones who are coming off a really, really hot competition overseas and having all that practice. So I think it's going to be where Bobo have had the extra time to kind of watch and witness what they've been doing and actually look into counter-stratting, which is something that they do very, very well. Now, the opportunity, of course, on those maps, there's not going to be vetoes, really, too much, you know, that kind of break this down. 5 maps, a veto advantage, obviously, to Bobo, who did come in from the upper bracket. But at the end of the day, Komodo, we're going to be seeing all 5 maps. And, okay, I guess...
Yeah, so let me run through a little thing here for you. So Bobo coming out with Split is kind of expected. It's a map that they've got a couple of reps on, and, you know, think of the history of Bobo in this core 5 right now that we have got. There's not too many reps on any maps, but Split is a very safe ban for them. We know Order can be quite chaotic, even though, you know, they have some agent shifts coming on towards that map. I think the biggest thing to take away in this map pool right now is the fact that we've got Fracture and Breeze before any chance of Ascent. So it's kind of leaving in Order's mindset, if they need to come out with Ascent, they've still got a lot of tricks up their sleeve for that map specifically. But for me, it's Bobo kind of having to maybe crawl through Fracture here, which is going to be a really interesting thing.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's a big thing to take away, right? Like, Order obviously being a namestay in our region, you know, one of the, I guess, last remaining really top salary teams that's got that full-time capacity to really run it down and put in that practice, right? So picking up maps like Fracture, like Breeze, we know that Order have a disgustingly strong Breeze, but I do actually take us back to a previous series of competition where Bonkers did walk away with that victory, right? Earlier in the year in stage 1. It was Fracture that was picked by Order, and Bonkers came out and absolutely smashed them. I think it was like a 13-2 or 13-3 or something crazy. So that's going to be an interesting one to see how it goes. We know that Order picked Fracture internationally too. So determining what they're going to look like is kind of exciting. But the rest of it's all very stock standard. You know, Icebox, super strong map for Bobo there. We know how good Dragon's been looking on that chamber. But look, there's not really too much to analyze, I suppose, in a veto like this, right? It's all 5, full capacity to do it, and the only ones being taken out is obviously Bobo have a strong bind, Order have a strong split. Fair enough, we're going to be able to see the rest. And I got to admit, man, I hope it goes to 5 maps.
I kind of think that, you know, I want 5 maps as well. You're looking at the series yesterday where it was only 1 and it was kind of a quick 2-0 for Pilly and Mac over there. I was kind of, all right, this is done. You know, we've got our grand finalists right now. And again, you know, there's a lot of 2 ways of thinking to come out from what I'm saying today in so many different touching points. But for this grand final, for the map specifically, if we have a clean 3-0, it bodes well for the team going overseas. If we have a 3-2 and the maps are really, really tight, it means that our competition locally is getting better.
Yeah, exactly. And that's, I guess, what we really need. You know, there's going to be, I suppose, a bit of a break after this one. You know, it's a large competition for us. It's really that fun finale Grand Slam to get these teams overseas and see what they get to do before, you know, 2023 starts to trickle in. And, you know, there's been, I guess, conversations about what's going to be happening, how's it going to look. So overall, it's a really exciting time, and players are going to have to utilize this full break as best as possible to ensure they continue the practice, they continue putting pressure on each other and getting towards the top. Now, Haven, Komodo, the agent selection is coming in, and it is what I like to see, what makes me happy. RDW on that chamber, Bronski on that jet, Dragon on the chamber as well, and of course, it's going to be huge, but we do want to give a big thank you as well to Samsung. The Samsung Odyssey Neo G9 offers world-class performance with a 240Hz refresh rate, 1 millisecond response time, G-Sync compatible, and AMD FreeSync TM Premium Pro. Unleash your inner champion with Samsung Odyssey gaming monitors. Now, Komodo, I'm going to get my voice off of this and let you break it down. As ladies and gentlemen, we dive into the grand final, map number 1, Order versus Bobo. What do you think?
Well, I think that I want to touch upon the agent lineups right now to come on through, because I remember in the rumblings that Haven for Order, they did bring out Neon, right, against Fun Crew. It was 13-11, but for right now, they're going back onto a composition that I guess you would call more tried and true, right, more tested. Ronski back on the Jet is something that I love to see. It means we've got a roster of agents right now for Order that you kind of expect what plays were going to be happening for, right? And exactly the same from Bobo. Another lineup that is not new. It's what we know. So I think this is the composition that these teams are the best played and experienced on, which means there's going to be a lot of counterplay and big abilities, mate.
Yeah, absolutely. The best of what we get to see. No risks, only reward. So it's a stock standard. You see a little bit of aggression out mid. Fault line is going to come out, forcing Ronski off the line. He's already popped that tailwind, so that won't be able to be utilized for a little bit longer, but he does find the opening onto Sign. That's a fantastic start here for Order. Yeah,
you'll love to see that one. And with the Garage Crunch coming on through, Noz is going to dispatch of Texter, which means there's no smokes anymore for Order to play with, and it needs to be the information gathering time for Order, you would feel. What do they think that Bobo is going to be doing right now? And I love the passive approach that Bobo are opting for. It's putting the onus on Order to try and get back into toward this, and again back out toward Garage. Nice hacks. I think he's caught sleeping, didn't see the shoulder. Noz again though consistent for this trade, but Ronski, hello soldier, he's coming from behind.
Very, very big here. Is he going to find the catch though? Knife out. This is Noz, the man who's aware, the man who's ready to rock and roll. He's already found 3 here, Komodo. Now it's going to be onto RDW. Headhunter is out, is available. I think Noz has got more though. He's got 4. Already looking for the ace, and Komodo, we get the explosion to start. Big Papa Noz on the Astra with the ace to start us off here in the grand final.
Okay, there's only so many times and so many ways you can break down an ace in a pistol round. I'm just going to think, I'll keep this short and sweet in one sentence. Noz's crosshair positioning just then was perfect. Even in positions that he was just out in the open, he's still finding those kills. That is gorgeous.
Big one, I think, is, gun out, right? Ronski walking down mid, knife out, expected there to be backs turned. But on a map like Haven, mid control is such an important thing, and you see the defenders taking control every which way. So Noz being ready, Noz being, aware and able to find that opening. Strong start for Bobo.
Oh, well, with the round going over towards Bobo, it does mean that it's going to be the eco to come through for Order. No over purchase because they got smacked out by Noz. But I do like this aggression outside the A lobby. Ronski, Trademark's going to be getting him here, and Conky, these sort of rounds are just kind of holding on to weaponry. If you are Bobo, make sure you got everything that you want coming into that next bonus round. And on the flip for Order, they can get some damage. It'll be good. There's one kill at least from Maple, but that's all she wrote.
Done and dusted. Almost. A little bit of a shaky spray there, but Dragon holding on to his cash money. The Headhunter picking up 3, so looking a really strong position in that 4 alive. Enter the round. They're going to be walking into the bonus. Pretty solid, I would say. It's Dragon holding on to only the Ghost, 3 Spectres, a Bulldog to boot, but having that 4.5k, Dragon's going to be able to pick up the Operator very, very quickly if he does so choose. Maybe not necessarily on, the attacker side of Haven, but irrespective, it's going to be all guns out, blazing. RDW, the only man on the Phantom here. If Bobo walk away with this, that's when we can start talking about how Order's potentially looking.
Well, the fact that Noz got the ace and a couple of extra kills as well, it does mean he's got access to this Cosmic Divide, feeling like he's going to deploy it early to stop any rush of Bobo, and it's kind of nice, right? You're throwing that out to assist yourselves rather on the rush, but any aggression that Order might be throwing their way, and that's the lurk of RDW revealing himself at the deep of C. No trade potential from Order, and this is an immediate rotation toward the C side. This could be the bonus going. Bobo's waiting.
Has to go big here, moving inside that dark cover here. Dragon is going to be able to find him. Already 2 members down on the Order side so far. Spike is going to be planted, so they kind of take a bit of a step back for 1 second, but Sign's going to pick up another. No one going down on the side of Bobo just yet. Komodo, it leaves Maple all on his lonesome and probably having to save this Vandal. Again, another position where we've already seen 2 opening frags go the way in, right? They send down the Cosmic Divide. They look like they're rushing up towards B, taking advantage of a bonus. But Noz, he's waiting down long. RDW walking straight into his hands, hugging a kiss, and then a punch in the face. Round's done.
Yeah.
as the C is secured 5 alive in a bonus, Komodo.
That's kind of atrocious for Order as well, right? Because I almost feel like that's a read from Noz, knowing that he's got access to the Cosmic Divide. It's going to push the narrative for Order to potentially utilize their positioning and their people instead of their utility to get in front of that wall to get some information. And that's a good tell. You know, Order a team that love to get either the A long control or a player down towards C. And it just so happens it's RDW waltzing through C long this time. Maple's not going to be able to hold on through that Vandal as you were mentioning it. So it does mean that in terms of a bonus, we've got everybody on Bobo taking away a Vandal or a Phantom. They went in with Spectres, a Bulldog, and I just got to admit, 3 rounds in, and we've already got a pause coming through from Texter. That means that Order are flustered right now, and Bobo are doing exactly what they need to be doing to start this match off.
Yeah, for sure. Very mature of Texter. You know, he is one of those level heads in the community that has, you know, been a big important member for so long. So I think calling that pause nice and early, you can see that they're all relatively chilled. No one's stressing out. He's just sort of working out exactly what Bobo have been throwing at them, but there is not too much to analyze, I suppose, at this point in time. Really love the speed that they had to come out, but then also being able to kind of freeze it mid-round there from Bobo. And so far, what we have seen already is just those walks in, all 3 rounds, Order have made the first mistake, and Bobo have been able to capitalize on it.
Yeah, and with this pause as well, you know, you would expect it not to phase Bobo whatsoever. They'll still keep themselves well measured. Going into it, you know, Noz is just going to be having the discussion of making sure the boys aren't overconfident, I think, right now, because if you do give Order a bit of leeway, you know that they're going to be able to just bully their way through that one. So I think for right now, it is a really promising time for Bobo to really form a great attacker side. But again, you know, you don't want to cut it off too early, right? You need to make sure that they're still relying on a lot of fundamentals. And in a round where you're only going to be going up against the pistols, if you walk into the stack, that can be a rough thing. And I'm looking at this radar right now, Conky. Bobo are around the A lobby, and that's where Order's stack is, at the A site.
Here. Absolutely. Haven continuing to put down that pressure of finding the early control, and it's a strong paranoia and the fault line out already to take that extra advantage on the position. Now, Sign just on the outside. NiceHax is the only one that's actually stuck inside here right now, Komodo, but he's walked a fair way through. Sign now giving his position. RDW utilizing that rendezvous to get out. And a good open shot here from Maple. A bit shaky there from NiceHax. The aftershock not going to quite connect, but they've done some good things so far. Good response again. NiceHax finding 3. Okay, stability, calm, composed, all good. They're going to get out, and they're going to head their way back over. So pressure relies onto Texter here inside that garage position.
I would kind of like to see the orb gathered out here for NiceHax as well to make sure he's one away from the showstopper, whether it be through plant or death or even gathering it in the next round. It means you've got that showstopper to bully Order, right? You know that they're going to have guns in that next round, and if you've got that rocket, that's another ultimate that can really turn the favor in towards Bobo's way, like that Cosmic Divide did a little bit earlier. So the interest here for Texter is to kind of make sure that NiceHax doesn't get away with 2 ticks of his ultimates here, but even on this plant, meaning 1 away, should still be pretty good for him to have access to it in the next round.
Yeah, absolutely. I was going to say Noz did well there to watch the Nebula for quite some time, making sure nobody makes their way out of Garage. Now Dragon, fantastic position in towards CT, and Disco also going to be punished. So I think Bobo lost maybe a little bit too much there in that position. Scroll also getting taken very, very low. But again, the one thing that I really want to sort of, you know, push down on here is so far what we've seen from Bobo is their way of kind of turtling and sticking together as a unit, making their way up C all the way together, not rushing in off the back of a couple of picks. You know, NiceHax gets 3 towards lobby on A, but then they just kind of sit together and wait to see if any further aggression comes out. They know that the team is kind of at a disadvantage, so they're waiting for the mistakes to come out.
It's very Order-esque, funnily enough, on the attacker's side of how they play their maps a bit ago in a previous rendition of the roster, right? And I absolutely love to see it. It's well counted. And here's that showstopper coming through from NiceHax. It does miss, but it's access into the B site. You feel like Order are going to have to, you know, sacrifice a lot to get back into water. But look at this. An owl drone through the garage means that it's a bit of a C split potential. That's exactly what's going to happen. Seekers to get more information, but we're already in the C site, and Ronski's found 1.
Straight into his Cloudburst there, a second, and the tailwind away. This guy's just surfing around the C site, but does get punished in the end by Scroll. It does leave it into a position, though, however, it's a 2-on-4. Sign looks for another, baits out that spike plant, and does give himself some further positioning. RDW on that operator, but Scroll again from CT actually slots his way back into Garage. Sign looking at a wall, unfortunately, there. That does mean the Rolling Thunder goes out, it clips him, but he taps it, he gets it. It's all, jeez. It's close, it's tight, but RDW keeps him composure. And again, I feel like Order just looked a little bit scrappy there. They were kind of thrown off a little bit, and I do believe if Sign did actually spot that member just on the logs there. There could have been a potential turn of the round where Bobo walk away with that 2-on-4.
I don't really know how to kind of, I don't want, all right, let me put it this way. I don't want to overstay what might have happened in this round, but it felt like there were a couple of players that were maybe looking not at their crosshair. Texter in CT, when he got peeked out by Disco after the fake plant, kind of just didn't react. And the same there as well, you know, off the plant looking towards logs, there was no reaction from that player. So I don't know what might have happened in that scenario, but regardless, the round is over towards orders here, Conky, and because we had the 4-0, it means there's guns galore again for Bobo. So a bit of different assault for them right now. You got the Blade Storm to come out for Ronski, but a bit of this A-long control this time. And Order did run all the way down the C side of things, so they should know what's happening at A. RDW for the opener is gorgeous too.
I'm liking what NiceHax is throwing out so far, you know, utilizing the satchels to get down nice and close, creating the space for his team. That's pulled 3 members of Order over towards this A site right now. Do, of course, have Disco walking his way back into A link, so he's just going to keep an eye on B. So the way that Order have set themselves up is a bit more structured now. Texter into the garage, happy to walk his way out towards C to support Ronski. They are all very much just putting on the brakes here, though, Bobo. Gonna wait, gonna have Dragon now look to walk into B. Still haven't made a decision, though, with 55 seconds left.
Yeah, well, you're going to start to see these stars coming on down. Dragon, he's going to be taken out by that fault line, and Disco to capitalize as well. Remember, he's still got access to the Rolling Thunder here, Conky. So, when I say he, sorry, I mean signed, and that's what they're kind of poising around, potentially around this side at the moment, but a great little rendezvous to get out of this one. Maybe even if you are Order, you're letting this plant go down and playing a 2-player advantage retake.
Yeah, very common to see, as we all know, you know, the A site retake. Even the C site, you know, Haven is a very, very retakeable map, always a bit tough. And the fake plant does come through. Signed is now going to get that spike down, and they do start to walk in. Noz looking at the wrong position, but he gets the catch. Very unfortunate there for Disco. Now Ronski, pressure's going to be onto him. He only gets one, however. Scroll picking up from the cubby, but the trade is there, and now it's on the Signed into 1-on-3. Tex is already on the flank. Should be nice and easy, and it is very, very much more concise, I guess you could say, from Order in the round. Super clean, and they get it done 2-4.
Yeah, it was a little bit of layering to come in through from Disco and Ronski there as well, right? You play over towards Heaven to try and spot out what they can, that there being Ronski in the first one to go in. Maybe get a bit of a reveal exactly on where the players were, and I can't help but feel that maybe a little bit cheated by the fact that he saw Noz's gun barrel, and Noz still wins that duel. But if Noz is firing up, man, and he's leading Bobo into something sinister, then we've got a really big map of Haven to come forward. And again, though, since that round did go over towards Order, it means that we got another gun round here permitted by those rounds that we did see Bobo get in a row. Any plants that they keep getting is a bit of extra money, and the kills, of course, are great. And that they have access to a couple of these ultimates as well is going to be a really nice heightened round. C start of things right now with the Yao drone going through, and you've got RDW and Texter here. Rotation from Ronski over in toward the garage, and oh, that's rough and NiceHax. He's stuck.
Yeah, Paranoia really sort of catching it right there. Paul does manage to respond, react, and also not even just fighting the frag, but being able to force RDW out of contention as well. Now it's a double operator setup. It's Ronski with one, and then the tour de force as well. It's also into play. Ronski does get caught by that Rolling Thunder, but managed to get into position. Dragon, very out of character for this man here, but right now it all falls back onto the hands of Ronski, but he has been punished, taken down, but quick movement from Disco that's traded though by Sign, and NiceHax. It's all left on to RDW, the man on the chamber. We've seen him do huge things, but look at the patience from Signed here. NiceHax stuck on site. It's going to be a tough one. They swing together, they hold each other's hands, and they skip to and fro into a 5th round victory, Komodo.
That is absolutely vintage to come through from Signs. That shouldn't be a thing if RDW is already on the line and he's got a bloody, what is it, tour de force. He should be smacking him down a size, but that's just a really measured play to come out from Bobo. And I would probably go as far to say not one that RDW would be expecting in that, right? You've got a team that, like Bobo right now, who have played very well measured, played a lot of time together, played very strategically, and to come out with a little bit of a double wide swing, it's a complete change up of what the tendencies have been in this map so far from them, and I absolutely like it. Now we got another gun round, of course, to come on through. Disco is down onto just a sheriff, but already some lobby control. The deep Astra Star as well to come out from Noz. It's just about the pathing at the moment. RDW, if you can find the first frag, it's going to be big, and we might actually be able to find two. That's the question, isn't it? How long? But Noz! No!
That's the big brain, Komodo. Noz has done it again. The amount of quarters that this guy is checking. He's getting it done time and time again. Now, Dragon hears out this man in Disco, who only does have that sheriff. and they still are leaning towards main. So I guess the only thing here is that catch from Texter means that there should be some further positioning. From the Shadows goes out, he's actually going to send his way back for a bit of a spot further mid. So purely using it just for that information. Is Noz gonna find anything more though? He's gonna be the solo man to walk and stuck in the cubby. Still so much more to do here, Komodo, but Order have the lead.
Well, look at this. The rotation already to the A side at the moment because they haven't really spotted anything out. The owl drone from the lobby is going to give up the jig with 40 seconds to go. You would expect Paranoia in from Texter and Nicehack seen as well. He does dispatch of Vronsky, so that's good. And now that lurk from Noz is really going to come into play. But is he just going to call the audible and get the rotation happening to the C side or even the B side? That's exactly what's happening. Nicehack's playing bait, keeping them entertained around this A side right now. But look at the push down through toward the sewer as well right now. That's going to be Disco going down, at least for now. Texter's been seen into the dark cover. No way! He escapes with 2. Now it's on for the ace as well, but Maple's here to take it away from him, and somehow Order managed to bring that round back.
Did you see that from Texter? Are you joking me? Straight into his smoke, into the dark cover to take that extra control. They weren't ready for him at all. Noz played that to absolute perfection, and I think, you know, you and me started to talk about the narrative. Are they going to rotate? Are they going to get out? Sure, Noz had the flank. They had the position, but, you know, maybe double downing and heading straight into that A side wasn't the correct decision. And even though they found that pick, got it to a 2-on-3, Texter took all matters into his own hands. And again, a reason why he's the captain and why he's one of the best players in our region.
I think one of the problems as well for Bobo in that scenario is the fact that Maple didn't use any utility and reveal himself down through the sewers. So they were expecting that it was just Vronsky and Texter to be on the site. After Nicehack finds one, they think it's a weaker site and it's not. So well played for Order to kind of lean over towards that A site just there. But I got to say, just before this round started, I wanted to touch on the fact that Noz is absolutely clearing everything as you mentioned, and RDW got hard done by. Like, that shouldn't be happening. That's rough.
Vronsky keen. Get the opening, as he is quite well vested in doing. Noz is going to be forced out off the line as well with that fault line. So position looking good for Order once more, capitalizing on their early control, which is something they did lose out in the first couple of rounds. So whatever the conversation that they utilized in that timeout is working out so far. His Dragon just goes for a wander down yonder, seeing what he can find up, as the rest of the team does creep towards C.
Really did need some big individual performance from Bobo in this round right now. Losing the opening pick, a bit of clearance and damage to come through from Nicehack there, but I love this creep in from Dragon. If he finds one, that could be big because it might be one and done. Conky not expecting a player still out in the heavens. Maple is going to take that trade, but again, you know, it's all a ruse at the moment. Over towards C, you're going to have Vronsky. That dart doesn't get him, and now he should be good for 2. Inching out, gets the fault line into him, but now it's Texter getting shot in the back of the head as well, and just like that, Bobo lose the opening pick, but now they're 2-on-2. Noz has Cosmic Divide. This is very workable for Bobo.
Yeah, the pinch is just awesome. Like, you can continue to see it in Noz's in-game leading, how well he has been doing all of this. I guess it is probably going to be a round loss, as Signed, unfortunately, does walk with his back turned to RDW. Not ready for that lurk out towards the position of Long, but hey, look, again, another great sort of turnaround where we do see Bobo recover from a disadvantage. However, Order, they have managed to play the rotations very well, keep their composure, and get their way back in. So that's 4 rounds now. And to kind of, you know, tell the story of a map like Haven is it does still feel like Defender's side is the more challenging side, I guess, with so much space and ground that they have to cover up. So it does appear to me that Order are getting kind of a good catch here. What's the cash going to be looking like? It's finally an eco here for Bobo, Komodo, and you know, our coach senpai, the Japanese mastermind, he's called for the pause.
Yep, getting into pause as well. You know, you got access to one each side. You may as well use it when you feel a little bit rough. And I guess that's the tail end of Bobo's little run undefeated in the start of this map, right? 4 rounds in a row. You're feeling really, really confident. And that's when Order take that timeout. That's when I mentioned you don't want to see a bit of complacency, some overconfidence come through from Bobo. And I don't think they've shown that just yet, to be honest with you. I think it's more on the side that Order have realized what they need to do to get back in towards this map. And it's a little bit of that quarter cunning, right? Pushing down towards one side of the map, predominantly the C side, really, really fast to try and just get in front of the Bobo members and their utility. We've seen Scroll using that drone a couple of times early on. Nicehack as well, trying to get some forward positioning. So it is a couple of tells that Order realize what is happening in Camp Bobo, how to get around from that. But now that we've got this pause, Bobo are going to be doing the same, right? Analyzing exactly what's been going wrong for them, what's been going right for Order, and what the plan of action is going to be to potentially get at least the 6th round here. You know, if they can get the guns in the next and make it a 6-6, they're still okay with that. But access with the Cosmic Divide and the Rolling Thunder and a round with the Sheriffs and a Hail Mary Vandal for Dragon, Conky, it's still a round that's plausible.
Always is. Game like Valorant never counts out anything. Vronsky pushes his way through. Noz is ready for it. They are super switched onto this. And that's the punishment that Ronsky does get caught off guard by sometimes. Texter, though, can pick up the pieces. Great 2K from the leader now, and I don't think Sign is going to be ready for this man in RDW. Has the rendezvous down, and he's going to click his fingers to get away. Trademark also in position, so he's going to be caught up regardless. Guiding Light over the top. Nice Axe not going to get pipped by it, but it's information that is gathered. So once again, it is going to be Bobo falling to a little bit of a disadvantage as the catch under Nice Axe. So realistically, it's just going to be all onto old mate Scroll to see if he can pick up anything as he creeps into Garage. But I think it's going to be tough as Tex is already all the way in spawn.
And if he keeps going like this, he's going to find the spike or maybe even Nice Axe when he starts to waltz his way through toward the C site through the path of least resistance that's been cleared. But it is going to be the pre-statement to that one. Conky. Texter finds Nice Axe, and now it is on a Scroll. What damage can he really do with this Vandal? You know, the money is still a very fickle thing for Order at the moment. Another kill or two that would be absolutely brilliant for him at the tail end of this round, but 30 seconds to go. He's not going to be given that. Another 4K from Texter. Love to see it.
Absolutely. Man is a wizard, looking very, very comfortable. And that's sort of where I guess, you know, the questions did start to come out when I saw that agent lineup back on Wednesday, you know, watching what was sort of being throwing around. Because that is, I guess, one thing that Order have tried and tested a few times now, right? You know, we do remember back in the day where it was Tux on that, you know, on the Jet rather, and Texter was picking up, say, you know, the Phoenix. So it was kind of that double duelist from those two. Then they sort of sat back to a little bit more of supporting agents, allowed Disco and Autumn to do the duelist nature. And now with Ronsky and RDW coming in, you know, they're the real sharp masterminds that sort of, you know, allow the control to be found early with those frags. So it will be interesting to see if they actually do try to stick with that new change, because this is where I sort of feel like Order looks the strongest in this comfort position. Well, and, you know, Texter on the Smokes is the man to do it.
RDW is going to be posted up on the line. I do want to continue on with your point as well. It looks like we might be able to for just a second now. It was one of the things that Order, you know, did when they had the old boys, right, in the roster where they were changing up the champs. Yeah, Killjoy time. They kept changing that as well. But regardless, new roster right now, and they're kind of feeling they want to do the same thing. I just want to see Cypher be buffed, so RDW can go absolutely above and beyond again on that. But regardless, for right now, RDW's gone in this round right now.
Man.
So don't think
Chamber looking pretty good on the RDW. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you've got me there. Right, from the shadows for Texter, no one at A lobby, so there's extra information now. You've also got Ronsky pushed up all the way down deeper C. He hasn't pushed the trademark though. This is where Texter can define what happens in the remainder of this round. They lose the opening pick, but if he finds two, it's everything to get back. There's one. Oh, and the second. That's enough.
How's he get two? How's he get two there? That is insane. The only guess, like, additional thing is Ronsky has made another mistake. He's pushed all his way down C long, and he's actually gotten caught there. So it does go back to a 3-on-2. Advantage going the way of Bobo here. Pressure, though, applied. Both members walking through that C-Link now, just outside CT. They should be able to lock in, but that line being held by Dragon, just way too easy. 3K using the rendezvous, getting the hell out of there. Fault line goes down from Disco, but I think there's just a little bit too much here, Komodo. The post plant is fantastic. We've got Nice Axe already walking into that C-Link position. He's got the wrap, he's got the flank, and that's going to be round done. Massive, massive stuff to come out. You know, I've been really impressed, I suppose, with what Bobo has been doing in these last few rounds in taking that control. And despite losing a couple of Angels, I guess you could say, like we just saw in Garage, they still feel like they've been in positional control and team synergy dynamic above and beyond Order right now.
And I don't think that, you know, Ronsky in this round was per se in a bad spot down C long, right? It wasn't really like a mistake or anything like that. I think it's more on the fact that there was timing that he moved, because he knew the trademark was actually positioned just outside of the C lobby, and pushing in front of that, of course, you use a cloudburst or anything, you're walking into your opponent's line. He started to fall back toward the C site when the garage happenings were there for Texter, and that's when he was caught out. So it was one of those timing issues, unfortunately. But something that I've noticed right now, Conky as well, when the action is happening on the other side of the map to Nice Hacks, he's holding his paint shells, he's holding his satchels as well. He's really only been using the Roomba to clear either down sewer or down A long. So he's still got access to all of that damage for a post plant. That's something that could be crucial in this last round of the half right now, where Disco is already poised with the Rolling Thunder, and we've got a heavy ace stack for Order.
Yeah, absolutely. That'll be a big investment if he does burn it down. And it looks like Texter has the paranoia as well. So they're going to be taking the fight. Using a lot of utility here, Komodo, just to clear out main is a very, very big statement. Nice Hacks might get catched up. No, he's going to be fine. He'll be able to moonwalk away from that one. So again, just that like standstill
Yep.
Bobo have done nothing in the round, and Order have already used so much.
So there was a paranoia, I believe, in from Texter there as well. But the most important thing, it was the Trailblazer to come in from Disco. He's Maple. He's now pushed up through towards Long. You got the posting on the operator from RDW. They don't know. So a lot of the clearance into the A lobby, like you mentioned, and a lot of utility early dumped for Order. But now is the answer to your question. Did they see him? Did they clear? And the answer is kind of yes and no. It's a one-to-one trade there. But you've got 40 seconds to go. And there's been no utility usage to come out at the moment from Bobo. They've got access to a lot. And with that A stack as well, Conky, we didn't see Ronski go down C. So as far as they're concerned, it's dirty at the moment.
Yeah. And I guess the only good thing here is the fact that that one pick, despite having it traded, means that they've kind of put a hole down the middle of the map. But now we see RDW getting very, very aggressive here, but they shoulder step him out and they look for the pick on the fine. Trademark goes off. Oh, I love this. Further, I do like this indeed. The shrouded step up the top, he picks up 2, and now Noz is stuck in a very, very awkward situation here. Dark cover goes down, he's ready for it, but he doesn't find a pick. Still inside, is he going to be able to get any more? He walks straight in, and RDW is going to get the click. It was a very, very challenging round for Noz to try and find there, but once again, it's the leader in Texter utilizing that Omen kit to perfection and breaking down the rounds.
I really love the fact that he's realized in the middle of that duel on the B side as well that he can do it, right? Maybe not just thinking that any one of the Bobo members are going to push through their own wall, because when you've only got a member like Breach to throw in the flashes, when they're already used, you can't get in front of that wall, easily, right? You can't like pop flash yourself through like someone on Maple with the Sky would be able to do. So for right now, Texter realizing just in the midst that he can shroud step above and not really be heard because of the muffled sound of Noz's ultimate there as well, that Cosmic Divide. Really keen eye and keen positioning to be able to do that and kind of just bring that round back for Order. So we've got a 6-6 half. Things switch up, and now I want to see what sort of different defenses we're going to get from Bobo, right? Because there was a lot of stacked leans from Order in the later half of that first half just there. And there wasn't really too many spread defaults, right? That's kind of what we've got in this pistol round from Bobo. A bit of a lean down towards the A long side of things, and a rotation now coming through from Sign because there was no popping of information. But over towards B, it does feel like where Order want to investigate first.
How's Dragon going to go? Already the opening. Ronski straight in, trying to get a bit of a catch and a pinch here. Dragon does get caught. RDW going to be able to find him, but it's Papa Noz once more. Looking great with that Ghost too. He did have the ace, obviously, in the opening pistol here as well, but now Disco caught. Signed, right-clicking that classic. It's going to be Scroll, actually, to find him, but all left onto Maple. He might be able to get the spike here, Komodo, and try and take a little bit further control, but
they have eyes on it.
So many angles to clear. Exactly right. Eyes found. They do catch it now, but you can just see where Maple's mind is right now. But Nice Axe, he's going to go straight through, and will the timing fare him? Not quite. He actually waits. So it's going to be all the way until he goes for that spike. Planned a little shaky, but Nice Axe does get it, and that's 3 alive here for Bobo. They win out the pistol, and it's in another strong position as they go into the second round.
I really like that patience from Nice Hacks there as well. He doesn't have the most flourishing frags in this game right now, and I guess to the course of this competition too. But the fact that it's a 1 versus 3, and he waits for his teammates to get some information, right? They hear the shots of the Ghost coming around where the spike's picked up in the C link, and they go as a unit. Fault line in, he hears the information of Maple even on the site, but he doesn't, bite off more than he can chew, right? If he takes the 1 versus 1, you're giving an opportunity to lose that 1 versus 3. So I really like that he's very well measured at the moment on this raised kit. And now into the next round. Oh, that was rough from Dragon in the beginning, but still manages to find Ronski. So as far as you considered, great start to the round for Bobo, honestly. And it's just even better now, not dropping anybody. And okay, yep, Dragon signed, Chamber buffed. Yep.
Yes, Chamber strong, Chamber Chad.
Indeed.
That's what I mean, going on to this different position where obviously Cypher had so much to offer, but the extra utility that Dragon is able to utilize on that Chamber is awesome. But the one thing I do kind of want to touch upon right now is what we're witnessing with the old Ronski effect, right? Like, he has had such a weird shift in position. Like, we look back to when you and myself, Komodo, were casting the APAC VCT just a short time ago. Ronski was able to create so much space and control on that jet, especially thinking back to find, Breeze on Oasis versus Oasis. Whereas what we're seeing so far on this map is the amount of times he's gone for that dash in early, but Bobo have been ready for it every single time. So I guess that's going to be more of a credit to Bobo as opposed to, discounting Ronski. But punishing him and keeping him kind of on a leash has meant so much important positioning for Bobo in this map so far.
I think it also comes down to the fact that Bobo play order a lot more than a team like Oasis
Correct.
did, and there's a lot more rich history that you can go against and tendencies. So I think that's going to be a really big element to play in it right now. However, we've had the first 2 rounds in this half already done and dusted, Mitch. Now we've got a gun round to come through, and it's a bit of a B-side bully meant to come on out, but Dragon pulls out the headhunter. It's so quick to be able to pull out this pistol and find a frag. Opening kill over the way of Bobo again. Remember, they found the pistol, both pistols, and both second rounds. They found last time's bonus. If they find this bonus, it'll be huge, but at least RDW takes that Noz.
Look at the rotate. Rotate flank. Sign does find it, but unfortunately, it is all left on to just the one man. And of course, Dragon, they found him. But again, as you mentioned, it's just the bonus Maple if he wants the wrong line. But if Dragon finds him, that could be very, very big. But they've managed to create a whole lot of space, and he isn't sure where they are. Yep, exactly. It should be nice and easy to get to Maple to find the pick. Oh, hang on. He's given it up. He's given it an opportunity right now. And a little bit of a spray for the BM2. I like it, I like it. But again, this run-in, I suppose all they can really sort of hope for is, you know, a 1v2 clutch, 1v3 clutch rather, for a big round win could be huge. But damage is key.
It doesn't matter.
It's just the bonus.
Honestly, that's exactly right. It's damage and the bonus, and it's also the fact that if Dragon loses his life or even finds the frag, maybe he goes for it right now. It's even worse. 2 guns to the next round? Okay, it's bad. It's not too bad. 1 gun to the next round for Disco, and that's kind of awful for Order in this bonus round. And, Mitch, as well, remember, Dragon's got the tour de force available for the next round as well because of the damage that he's just found. So this is actually like Bobo laughing in Order's face at the turnout of this round.
Ooh. There was almost a moment there where I kind of saw him winning it. You know, Dragon is just so sharp and he's so ready, I guess is sort of the way I can put this. He seems very alert of a player, very snappy, very quick. But unfortunately, it doesn't quite connect, doesn't turn over. Disco keeping his composure in his sort of experience banner of play. Now Coach Dick Stacey, he's called for his pause of his own. I think very, very necessary to do it. Like that round, that post plant that they had. And I mean, look, Maple was a long way away, right? But it did afford Dragon a position where he was able to find 3 1v1s in a 1v3 post plant situation, which I guess should never happen. Lots to think about.
Yeah, I'm just kind of wondering right now what we're going to be looking like in toward this next round, of course, right? Because Order, that round is really going to be upsetting them, I guess you would say, in how it's turned out. And already I'm just looking at the weaponry. You got 2 players running in with Spectres. You got RDW, who's going to be popping the tour de force. Same for Dragon. So this is one of those swing rounds that it could really start a great defense over towards Bobo. But for Order, if they're able to at least, you know, retaliate in this round, it could be the start of their attack that they really need, because I almost feel like a lot of the times in this match so far, Conky, Bobo have just been ahead, even if they've kind of got like a player disadvantage because they've still been converting those rounds.
Let's play.
Conversion is all the game's about, making sure it does happen. Okay, so very aggressive start once more. Nice axe taking that forward position. And the swing down long. So Dragon doing exactly sort of what they're ready for, but I don't think they're looking in any which way.
Here.
He spotted out the gun barrel. What does he do with it? This is such a challenging position to be found in right now.
Oh, he's found
and he does manage to at least spot Ronski, so that's okay. Not quite the second. And that's a really awkward fight. I mean, Dragon is in such a bad spot, but he gets away. He's done so much in this round already, Komodo.
Dragon actually managed to get a leg out on towards RDW, and as an operator player, you know, you're probably still okay to face an angle, but if he gets a breath of air flown towards him, he might be fallen. Just like Texter, a bit of a preempt spray from Scroll, signed as well to hold back at the gong, and I think that gong is rung for the closure of this round. 2 versus 4 for Order on low HP, and they're just not getting allowed access in towards this B side at the moment. Spike is going to be irretrievable for RDW, and with that tour de force still available, you know, you could get some damage out. Got a Vandal as a, maybe you'd call it a prize, a little lasting weapon to take in toward the next round, but Signed already on that line. Not going to be giving away his own weapon, which you want to see, right? You want to see them balancing out the economy of their own.
Signed is really, really impressing me. I've got to admit, you know, he was one of those players that I feel like kind of got stuffed into the funnel of Order when they needed a player to come in to join them. and he didn't quite step up to the mark, I guess, of, was it Dick Stacey that he replaced back that far away? I think it potentially was, you know, running it back a year now, a little bit over a year.
Talking about like the whole ground zero / like absolving thing.
Yeah, yeah. Look,
That time.
irrespective, right? Like, it's such a challenging role to play his position, right? Whether it be picking up the Sova, the breach. He's had so much impact and just keeping the focus elsewhere, right? Like, in that round, for example, we had Scroll inside a Link who was kind of just keeping the eyes set, and they were only thinking, you know, one member on B, let's take this control. But then Sign sitting at the back of the site, just able to, you know, strike whilst no one's ready for it. So that's been the thing that Bobo have just done so well. And again, why I keep making this commentary towards how hot they've looked in the from like a team dynamic position. You know, they're whiffing a couple of shots here and there, sure, but they're looking way more punishing than Order right now as a team.
Yeah, and Pistols down in toward this round as well for Order. So in terms of punishment, you know, a bit weaker. Potentially just want to see a kill or two, farm up an orb as well, and maybe you get closer towards Disco's Rolling Thunder to be an element to assist you in the next round. I do like the passive approach from Bobo at the moment, realizing that it is Pistols that they're going up against, not trying to give anything away. Dragon on a bit of an off angle in a round such as this, elevated on the B site to find the opener, and he knows, you know, don't be challenging a dirty line to the front of B. He's going to hear the info, quarter nods, pop that smoke potentially, and they can just play the round pretty stock standard from here on out.
Yeah, absolutely. Stars are still there. Means they have to force their way through the Nebula. The fault line's going to come in, and the aftershock again as well. Doesn't quite get, you know, the job done it needs. And now another flashpoint to go in to allow a peek over from Dragon. He's back on the line. Nice access here. So Scroll. Whilst the dark cover's there, Maple just has to walk straight into it. He gets one. But now it's on to Texter, who is on the flank. But look at this. Like, Simon's ready for it, Komodo. He's read everything. He allows that the A site to be given to think, hey, you know, it's free. You can take this if you really want. But we're going to be here ready for the retake. And Texter, there's the punishment. He'll be taken. And now they know that the spike is going to be heading over towards this A site. But it's a 1v4 with only a Sheriff. I mean, look, RDW is good, but is he this good?
Well, he just tapped the plan as well, so that gives information towards the boys over on the defensive side of exactly where IDW is. And okay, you'll take a reward of 1 frag after tapping the plant. That's kind of what he's hoping for to keep the interest of economy little bit more vulnerable, resettable in 2, but that's the problem right now, Conky. Resettable in 2 means that Bobo are on map point.
This is nuts. Really strong. And I mean, look, you know, the game is playing out exactly kind of how we wanted it to. You know, the two players that we kind of highlight in Dragon is really stepping up to the plate. Ronski hasn't. And again, I hate criticizing it because I don't feel like it's Ronski playing bad per se. It's just Bobo are ready for it. They've done their research. We talk about how hard they counter-strat all of this. And, you know, he's just been punished every single time. So Ronski looking for that control outside Garage once more. He will be given it this time almost, but Boombot comes out from Nice Hacks. They are choosing to fall away, and with that dark cover down, they just move towards C to prep for that defense.
I love that. The Roomba goes into the garage to see if anyone's closer towards the line, and then they send in the flashes, the dark cover, the rolling thunder. All this utility is just being dumped in the garage to stop Order from progressing in towards one of these sites. As far as you're concerned for Bobo, your job is done in that regard. They don't have control of garage. They've wasted a bunch of the utility on their own, and now it shifts over towards what do we have to do? You've got the line being held in the sewers from Dragon in case Order do move back over toward the A side. You've just heard the TP at the back of the C long area from Texter, and if that orb is gathered out, it has to be from Disco to get the rolling thunder to get in toward this site. But they're going to go before that, and Ronski is in for the first already.
Exactly what we need to see from Ronski, and he's got the position, but he's gone a bit too far. Fantastic flash to come through. Now the rolling thunder is out, but they're still at the back of the site. They're still in a position where they can live on and break through this defense now. Scroll gets one. Texter, though, with 2. And now it's all left on to Sign. He's been overlooked at the back of the site for now, but RDW gets the job done. However, it's again a guy that we continue to put our eyes upon. Komodo, it is Texter, the 2K, an impactful 2K. Because, yeah, they had enough time where they could obviously, you know, run it back from the Rolling Thunder, sit at the back of the site, wait for the peak opportunity again. But it was Texter to, you know, negate the trade and get 2 back to put his team back in the lead.
Nah, really well as well. Play star from Noz to quickly pop that Nebula as well, because if that wasn't there, there's 2 sides of the site that Order can start to funnel in, and it looks close as well when they're challenging out through toward the logs. But Order to hold on in that round, and now they're in one where they need some things happening, right? Ronski's popping the Blade Storm. You've got RDW, one away from the tour. He has gone in with the Vandal here just to make sure that they're not fighting early for an orb as well. But it does feel like it's a bit of the garage entertainment again. Ronski's going to be leading the charge in with a great flash as well. With Sign just on this off angle, ready, and even damage through the wall on towards Maple. The trades are at least coming through from Disco, but you still have to contend with Noz, and you're not expecting him. Oh, he's revealed himself early.
Star down. Falling away. Dragon's picking up the control where he needs it. Trademark spotted. So both chambers are very, very close to each other. Able to get that audio cue, understanding exactly what's happening. Scroll peeks in. That's tight. Paranoia will go down, but he's happy to move in now. Maple's very low. This is going to make for a challenging position. Noz has already made his way down mid, but the timing does not quite suit. The Hunter's Fury is actually going out, but it's tagging up the wrong person. I guess that was kind of used as a bit of a
shield.
A break in the position. Yeah, exactly right. Keep the focus off, but now Scroll, he's not going to be ready for Maple at all. Maple's going to find the timing, walking on in, gets the catch. Now it's all left on to Dragon, 1 versus 2, and there's so much for him to try and find here. Both members sitting just around that garage. He might be able to get it to half and potentially do a little bit of a fake out. How does he play this? They're both just running together. Guiding light goes up. He turns off. Where's the peak? There's one. He could potentially stick this. Oh no! He's pulled off and he had it.
He would have had it. He would have had it. Let's see if he still has it right now.
The shot. Does he have the time?
Yeah, he's got it.
Does he have the time?
Yep, he's got it.
Yep. Nice.
Easy.
Oh,
easy,
man.
love it. Dragon is really, really good in that position as well. You know, he could have stuck it on the first one, but he's backed himself to go in for the challenge. The things that I want to break down in that round as well there is the fact that, number one, I mentioned Noz, you know, revealed himself potentially a little bit too early on the C site. The positioning from Maple to get into the window was actually really great in that 2 versus 2, but Dragon, Operator not revealed. The tap on towards the defuse as well, baits out a wide swing from RDW, you know, takes the challenge early because there was no flash at that time, actually, for Maple to be able to utilize first to get him off. They had to wait a second or two to get that back. So nice positioning, nice timing to get there. And you got the 11th going over to the side of Bobo. Again, what do we see from Order to try and get back into this one? A dark cover to the top of the B site. Block off a potential operator shot.
So close, Komodo. Just like, it just feels awkward for Order. You know, they haven't had the equipment that they kind of need. You know, a few rounds where we've seen Disco have to drop down to, you know, the Spectre or the Sheriff and that kind of thing. It's just been so tough. And that's where Bobo have been like only just one step ahead. You know, not multiple. They're not super far in it. There is still so much room left in this series for Order to bring it back. And it's a interesting sort of position right now. 3-4 members around this C position. All the control held by Dragon. Bobo doesn't need to peek over in this position. And you can see Sign is just keeping his composure. And again, that's where Dragon doesn't want to walk into that trademark. So Ronski up very, very close. Ready to activate onto that position. They're just looking for a mistake. Is he going to see the tippy toe? Oh, nice axe, he will. And the second is spotted, but Scrawl gets the trade back. Komodo, now this is going to be awkward. Scrawl, though, straight on through. And look at Order. They just parked the brakes, and that should be another, but no, Maple gets it. Now it's back to 3-on-3. They can run it towards A.
Dragon's been the lone soldier at that A site down the sewers time and time again, and he bites off more than he can chew this time. The expectation that he's going to be pushing down when the lean starts to happen towards C, really well timed out from Order here. Necessary, right, to stop Bobo from potentially getting this 12. That's going to help things out by text up finding Signed, and you could potentially see a world here where Noz wants to use the Cosmic Divide to get back in towards this round. However, they're just so disconnected at the moment. Scroll's looking the wrong way. Disco's found Noz, and I think this round is done and dusted just like that. Order finding their 9, still keeping Bobo from getting that all-important 12th. And it might even be a little bit further placed now as well, given by the fact that the economy is not balanced out for Bobo. There might be the eco. The only real weight I feel is going to be Dragon on this tour de force, and maybe Nice Hacks if he wants to rip a showstopper early.
Pilski calls this one a swing round.
Yep.
Prime opportunity. I mean, technically you'd call the previous round the swing round, right? You're breaking that economy. You know, we were only just touching upon such a short time ago about how close this map actually is. And, you know, how Order have kind of been on the back foot a little bit, feeling that pressure, but now finally managing to break up that economy a little bit. I mean, look, Order's only going to get to 10, but if they go any further, it's going to get really, really scary, right? You know, we could potentially looking down the barrel of an overtime in map number 1, which is nuts to think about. There's so much more forward of what we can expect in the rest of this series. We've got some more technical maps around the corner, obviously in Fracture, and Order also picking up Breeze. Bobo have looked confident, they've looked synergized, but again, if Order allowed space back into the map, that's when they've got to kind of, you know, maybe potentially start to feel their backs up against the wall a little bit.
Yeah. I'm kind of thinking, does it need to be a requirement here for Order to close this out, for Ronsky to get a couple of opening picks in the team to kind of correlate around him, or do they just need to continue doing what they're doing? A little bit of an entry here or there, regardless of who gets it. Bit of a grouping up, a lurk as well from Texter has been something that they've kind of transitioned to in a couple of these rounds that has been really, really good for Order to close out. So, as you mentioned, yeah, this kind of swing round with the last one, but it's just going to be the pistols coming through for Bobo here. The tour de force for Dragon is indeed ripped out. So it does shift over to figuring out where it is, and Vronsky, he's elevated. If Dragon finds this shot, that's ridiculous. Okay. Insane.
It's ridiculous, yeah. Completely agree. The guy's been sharp, so switched on, and like, you know, again, sitting up at the top of the scoreboard, 22 and 13. Tex is going to be ready for Scroll, I do believe, and he does manage to pick that one up, so it's realistically going to be all onto that pressure. Oh, that's so unlucky. The timing doesn't quite catch. Now they know exactly where Nicehack is, and they are marching, cheering, running straight in towards this A side. Nicehack, very awkward spot, but Sign, though, does find it. They do line up. Ooh, that's tight. That's awkward, but at least now that means that they do have a solid position to be in. Rotating all the way through in this 3-on-3. It's going to be eyes on Dragon to see how he goes with the ultimate.
Yeah, I like that little shift. Disco one away from the Rolling Thunder. He's called the audible on that one just to make sure he's got access to it, and a bit of regrowth to come through from Maple to make sure the boys are healthy. In for the retake, the 3 versus 3 Hogel. We see this wall come out from Noz. That actually didn't bite them. I'm surprised. Texter finds Dragon. The free gun gets him out in the end. And on this 2 versus 2, Designed just keep the weapon into the next round, or they still go for it. It's going to be big damage. The clearing through. The flash is not here. Maple has one in 1 second. It's there, and a Rolling Thunder, maybe not necessary, but ripped by Disco just to ensure that they can hold down on this round. The fault line as well to disorient Signed, and this should be Order gathering at double digits here. The question now for Signed, does he get an exit kill or not? On towards Disco. He's still holding into the site. There's the frag, and the spike eventually will explode, but I think the Order members are okay.
All he could have really hoped for there was some further damage, because again, that was a complete eco. You know, only the fact that Dragon did invest into the tour de force. But across the board now, everything has started to kind of equal up. You know, every single member, from what we can see, have had their part. They've done their bit. Maple looking fantastic, 11 assists as well. So overall, it is becoming a very, very even game, more so than what we've seen earlier on in this map, and what all we can hope for the entire course of this series. So it's a big battle, the bloodbath. Again, another position where we can see Order actually take the lead back here off the back of what they do have. Teleport out in towards long. That's going to be Ronsky actually caught up both those paint shells. There's 3 here, Komodo. This could be dicey.
Early paint shells is something a little bit different to come out from Nicehack. So this is maybe an allotted play from Bobo to gain complete control of the A side. Something to mention as well, right? Both pistols to Bobo and the subsequent rounds, and 1 bonus means like they're still keeping this game entertained. And now we're into the A side really early for Order, and it's just a complete shutdown. Maple is in the suck of the gravity well, which means he's a bit vulnerable at the moment, but I don't know if Bobo realized he's already pushed up all the way into the site. There's the kill to come out from him, but overlooking the short player in Nicehack, who has been sneaky beaky in this round. He will get taken down, but there's a trade again to come through from Bobo. Trade City, and that is the 12th secured for the defenders.
Man, that is insane. Like, leaving alone Nicehack in that round, and I love his patience there, being able to get the pick down sewers. Awesome, awesome play to keep the composure for what is now map point here. First map of the series, best of 5 grand final. I remind you all along at home, Bobo from the upper bracket. Order doing the really, really hard battle down in the lower. Again, taking a risk in changing up their agent composition. Didn't work off.
Right there.
There's 3 ultimates that Bobo have held onto as well. Rolling Thunder, Hunter's Fury, Cosmic Divide. They've got access to a lot of elements to try and close out this map here and now. And already Order collecting themselves around this C site. A TP into the top of site is going to be denied by Texter himself, but Ronsky's in.
And he's down. Solo Komodo. All by himself. Not one single member went in, and you sort of wonder, was that a moment where someone's made that call to go in, or has he done it on his own volition?
The judgment, though.
Picked from 7 or 8 times.
Yeah. The judgment from Bobo as well, Conky. Right now, they realize that that's just, as you mentioned, exactly. Ronsky by himself, they spread themselves back out. You know, they don't have a lot of information to the A side. They're sending in the drone to gather that at the moment. You've got Nicehacks pushed through Garage. This is looking fundamentally so strong from Bobo right now. And again, I want to remind everyone, there's still 3 deadly ultimates to come through to stop Order in their tracks.
Absolutely, but also more maps behind this one too. Even if Bobo do manage to catch it through, Order are no strangers to a comeback in a series. But Texter
has to go
into
big.
the Nebula. Are they going to be ready for it here? Scroll was looking the other way. They are super, super ready for this one right now. Spike going that way, but they're actually looking
they
out
selling a
for
guard fake?
Niceax's position. Yeah, exactly. I think Niceax is well and truly tucked in. They got 25 seconds here, Komodo. Now, Texter does manage to find that pick. Dragon up on the top of the side. Is he going to be ready for it? He gets one. So important. Maple now has to do so much here in this solo position because Niceax is straight down and he finds the catch. Now it's such an awkward retake, Komodo. I'm going to let you run through this 3-on-2.
Oh, Sinders used the Rolling Thunder to the B site because he didn't know if there was anyone lurking from Order at that moment. So just a little mid-round utility decisioning as well from Bobo. They're a bit flustered here, I might feel, but Order have to get into their face right now. Disco sees where Noz is. The Crossfire sign is running and gunning with this Phantom at the moment, but Niceax is through the Cosmic Divide onto the site. Now Maple gets taken down. He gets a dink for his troubles, but it is Bobo to find the defuse, find the kills, shut down Order in this map. 13-10. It's Bobo's way.
Map number 1 goes the way of Bobo. That was a phenomenal round to be played out. And again, it just looks like that Order were a little bit flustered. I think throughout the entirety of that map, right? That round was a perfect example, despite the fact that Texter found the opening pick, Maple able to, get the response back, but Dragon pulling it back to effectively a one-man show on that site, and Maple unable to close it out. They feel awkward, they feel scrappy, trying to fight in towards CT, but look, I've got to give it to the side of Order for the moments that they shone across. Texter did so many massive things, Disco also with some huge moments, but realistically, Bobo, how fantastic that they were able to look inside that map was awesome. They were so composed, and how they were able to punish. Again, like, if we look back on that series and see how many times it was Ronski first to die, and again, not a criticism on Ronski, a prop to Bobo for how many times they were able to punish what is usually such an X factor for Order.
And I think some things that I want to take away and highlight from this fact as well is that 4 rounds, right, essentially over towards Bobo with the pistol and the secondary one that they're able to find out of 13, and Order still managed to find double digits, right? It just goes to show that Order on a lot of those rifle rounds are very capable to being able to close things out. But for Bobo, positioning wise, it was really sinister a couple of times, and them to be able to close things out nicely. You had players positions where they needed to be to really shift themselves nicely across the map. And one thing that I've actually just witnessed, and something that I kind of overlooked in that map just there, when you talk about Valorant, you got a lot of agents that can get assists out, right? We look towards Sovers and Skies and all that sort of things to get assists. You never think about Duelists getting assists. Niceax on the Raze kit got 10 assists in that map.
All the info off the back of the boombot, the paint shells locking down those, narrow corridors on a map like Haven. So huge things. And then, of course, Signed managing to do the exact same thing, just always there supporting his team. Mr. Reliable, the synergy between him and Noz, the Overwatch duo have been fantastic. So big props to Bobo in map number 1. But of course, ladies and gentlemen, we have Fracture around the corner. Is it going to be Bobo bringing it back, or will Order continue to push back down and keep them on their toes? We'll find out just after the break. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back in action once more for the Valorant Oceania Tour. It is going to be map number 2 coming around the corner now after Order have been felled, the Titans of the region, losing that opening map to Bobo on Haven. 13-10, so certainly a close one, but you know, overall, it just felt like Bobo had that slight step ahead in understanding Order's dynamic, and they were able to punish accordingly.
Yeah, there was just a lot of to and froing coming out from the shifts and the momentum of Bobo, where it was almost feeling that somebody on their roster was in the right place at the right time to at least find a pick and keep Order from progressing just a little bit further in a lot more of those rounds. And that's not to take any credit away from Order, because in a lot of those rounds as well, they were able to bounce back and be able to figure things out, but maybe just a little bit too late. I want to see differences coming in towards Fracture, maybe on the pistol rounds, to be honest, from Order, because in dropping both in the first map there and then subsequent rounds, and I guess the bonus in the first bit of the first half there as well, it means, you know, that was 6 rounds that essentially Bobo were able to find for free, that if they were given over towards Order, we could have a different outcome.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely think that's the thing, you know, where Bobo did manage to throw themselves forward a little bit. You know, the early economic run that they had, you know, meant that they were able to sort of reinvest for a number of those rounds, keeping the Order economy honest as we started off. But now as we move into Fracture, Komodo, now the only time I'll touch on it, or the reason because of it, is over the APAC VCT, we got to cast some insane teams pulling out Fracture. It was the Neon, it was the Rays, it was the Chamber, all looking really, really hot, and that Breach utility to throw it all around as well. That is where we lead in next, right? The winner of this is going to be going to that APAC LCQ, wherever it is going to be. So that's a big, scary thing that they've got to see. So right now, seeing the best of the best duking it out on Fracture for us is going to be a huge tell about what we're going to see into that next stage of the competition.
Yeah, because it is a map that is very, very plausible that they'll have to come up against, because we've seen a lot of picks from the APAC teams running in with it, you know? So if you're getting more reps on it here, you're at least able to tread water, find some more vulnerabilities of yourself if you still pick the win. And if you don't get the win, but you still win the series overall, you know, it's a touching point. You have to go back and look at what went wrong in that map and what went right to be able to throw it again when it does come through. We are just waiting for the agent picks to come through at the moment, and I was just doing a little bit of a refresher again, and I am very glad to see, you know, that we've got some pretty differences. It's looking like the smoke agents are going to be different for us here. The duelists are going to be different. Chamber versus Cypher in the mix as well. So completely different compositions is what the norm for these rosters come out with Conky. And I'm just wondering, are we going to get that again like we did on the previous map, or are we going to get something else thrown at us?
Yeah, for sure. You know, and that's exactly what I'm talking about, right? If you're going to be going up against Forsaken's Neon and Jing's Rays, you've got to be ready to do it. But the big item is going to be, again, seeing what we have come out from the supportive players, right? You know, what is Disco going to be doing around potentially, you know, looking at that breach? It's likely we're going to be signed back on that one as well. And Sign definitely did so well. And Disco obviously being an incredibly important player on that too. So overall, this is where it comes in. Locking, tempting. Disco is going to be on that Neon, Komodo. Here we go. Okay, so this is back to the new stuff that they're working on, Order.
Yep, Disco on that Neon. So it's the composition that they were able to dispatch of Rain on. 13-8, if memory is serving me correctly on that one. So it means that Texter is not going to be the one over on the smokes, and it's RDW. I feel like every time I watch this different kind of composition, comparing Texter's smoking style to RDW's smoking style, they're different, right? They have a couple of similarities in terms of execution style and stuff, but I always have just felt like Texter gets things out on the smokes a bit quicker than RDW is able to. So I want that to be something that they're able to rectify if these are going to be the forward changes going through for this roster. But I also like the fact of, you've got a roster like Order, you've got pretty much 5 players capable of playing duelists. If they're able to change it up, it's cool.
Absolutely. Valorant Oceania, unleash your inner champion with Samsung Odyssey gaming monitors. Buy a 49-inch Odyssey G9 monitor from Samsung New Zealand and receive a bonus 27-inch Odyssey G3 monitor or a bonus 1TB 980 Pro NVMe M2 SSD. Visit samsung.com/NZ/LPL for more Odyssey monitor gaming details. Offer valid until the August 16th. T's apply. Make sure you check it out. But what we're going to be checking out, Komodo, is now this map of Fracture. The agent pool does sort of fall into the narrative of what we're expecting, what we're looking to see, and the only sort of saving grace for me is the fact that Orders, whilst, you know, we're moving, obviously, Disco onto that Neon, onto the Duelist, at least we're not seeing peeling off too hard, right? Texter, it's a role that he's played in this support before. Again, RDW onto that smoking is going to be a bit different for me, personally, but look, I'm excited to see it. This is pressure on for Order right now.
Yeah. Well, how's this for a statistic? Bobo played Rain again on Fracture as well. Third map in the series and went 16-14. So it was literally the thing that kept Bobo in the upper bracket to winning here on overtime. So I wonder if that's actually going to have any play. We got a bit of control though for Order coming in towards the A holes at the moment. Just Ronsky lurking around, and this dish push as well to actually come out from Bobo right now. They know that the trademark is there. It will see them technically, so they have to kind of wait before they sneak into the arcade. So I kind of wonder in this pistol round, you know, what is Order's tendencies? What are their tells going to be as well? Disco's starting to make his way over towards the A side of things, and I think that's where they're going to end up.
They've got so much control already, and it looks like they actually have popped that trademark, so they're going to be rotating straight back out of main, into dish, into drop. And it looks like they're actually ready for this one right now, Komodo. So 4 here, 50 seconds. And we do have that lurk coming in from RDW as well. Obviously getting the stars down. Nebula will be popped. Ronsky can start to walk his way out towards this site right now, but the fault line straight back in. The wall does come in, at least from Maple, but look at Niceax. He can be gone straight in. Beautiful stuff from Niceax. He gets 2. Scroll also another. Ronsky does get at least a trade afforded, but like, Bobo just read absolutely everything of Order like a book just then.
Yeah, wow, okay. So things going a little bit wrong for Order in this pistol round right now, which is something that I wanted to go the other way, right? Not just going to sidewind Texter out. And that's one of the things, right? You got an Astro, you can be very autonomous, like we saw Texter kind of doing previously. RDW is able to do that here. But one of the big things, if you give Bobo any sense of flourishing around the map, if you give them any lurk ability, any space, they're going to get that information. They're going to realize what you're doing. And that's something that I feel like Bobo have just exercised better today.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's been very entertaining to watch them. And I think like it's a team where they're going up and they're not being like, oh God, we have to play against Order. I'm scared. They go, no, we're going to play against Order. We think we're better. So that's exactly what they're looking to do right now. Relay Bolt does go out, but Disco gets his head ripped off. Looks like they are ready to move on in. Maple trying to clear it out, but Niceax keeps on kicking. Sign's going to be there to join him, and that's the battle for the ultimate orb, so they're going to be able to pick that one up, heading towards that Rolling Thunder nice and early. RDW making his way through the tunnel, but obviously a long way home, and we do have the last remaining member in Ronsky 2 trying to create that space. So the Sky Smoke comes in, it's going to lock him out. Minute 10, not really a whole lot they can do. At least he can get the orb, head towards that 2 of the force. That's all that is really sort of here for now.
Yeah. There was a game on this map earlier on in the week. I can't exactly remember who it was. It was somebody on a chamber. It might have even actually been an overseas match, just as the flawless is here from Bobo, where you got 4 ultimate orbs around this map, right? It was a chamber getting all those orbs time and time again, and they've just got 2 of the force galore. Like every second round or something, they had the 2 of the force. I wonder if we're going to see a style of play for a team where when they realize they can get that space, if they're going to just keep being able to get powerful ultimates. You know, you think about a normal standard map, you might get your ult 2 or 3 times in a half. A map like Fracture, you could get like 4. You know, if you stretch to 5, imagine what that would do for your team. If it was possible. If it was possible. But regardless, something to dwell upon as we enter the bonus round. Bobo going to be running everybody with Spectres. Got the Vandals in there. Maple opting for the Phantom. And already just staying in the spawn at the moment, waiting to see if there's any aggression through this Sky Smoke, and there is some aggression from Noz. Taken down, and Maple damage means he can heal back up. No shields though for now.
A little bit of chip damage, not too bad of a result so far, but you know, one thing that we did manage to see was Bobo pull away the bonus in the previous. Now they sit in amongst the Sky Smoke as it fades out. Very, very big there. Kind of leaves Maple on a little bit of an island on his lonesome here as they creep into main. Just outside the door. Do have Niceax with a firm spot on it, but right now it just looks like Order a little bit hesitant, a little bit cautious, not really sort of feeling super confident. Niceax might actually look to take a hit, but he satchels away, so he's going to be fine as they still are just, yeah, very, very broken. They can't really make a decision here so far, Order. 45 seconds left.
And it's interesting as well because, you know, if they keep going towards the safe side, they have to contend with Scrawl's traps and he's set up like a Cypher. And this is one of Order's favorite things. They try to sell a bit of a fake because Disco is running on this Neon. He can get towards the other side of the map. The problem being, actually, thought the fake was going to be the other way around, with the players at the B site trying to push any rotations to them so that we could get in towards A. Now that we're actually going in towards B with that rotation, we have to wait for the spike to eventually get there. If we see signs to deny the spike here, there might not be any time to get back into this round.
Yeah. Look at this. He's actually slipped away too. The swing on in. It's not enough to pull the spike plant off, but there's going to be a very aggressive pushback in here already from the canteen. Niceax gets the paint shells over the top. Ronsky though, and Disco. Okay. We can remain calm. Lots of damage dealt, though, onto Disco and Ronski. Certainly a little bit shaky, but irrespective, they win away the bonus. They are going to be able to, go for the full fight back. They've only lost 2 weapons in the process, so the reinvestment is there. So all big plays to come on here through for Bobo. Whereas RDW, what does he end up picking up here? Okay, he's got enough. They're all going to have their Vandals and their Phantoms. This is a big important round here for Order now.
Yep. Oh, I actually wonder as well. Something that we were able to see was, how do I phrase this? TikTok walls on this map, where you're in spawn of you're in the T spawn, your attacker spawn, and you wall yourself up on top to see over under that tree. But Niceax is actually going to be doing it a little bit differently with the blast pack to try and get a line on RDW, who's not expecting it, but a bit of missing action. We're going to be seeing Neon enter into war the side. Disco running on through, maybe bro. Not. Yeah, this is what I mean, the Cypher kit. Although it's different, it's in the sands this time.
Already ready for it. Like, RDW has to try and face a duel between these 2 people completely solo. Like, they are locked in. There is no way out. They have to hit this B side. I guess the only thing, the A side rather. The only thing is the position of Maple over towards the dish. You know, the trademark is there, so that will be able to swap them out quickly if they do so need. Ronski got it out by the boombot, is able to take it, but he's caught, he's stuck. The Nebula isn't going to be able to save him. Just, but Scroll straight back in. Now that fault line is also going to make it really awkward for Disco as he peers his way in through the door. This is going to be awkward now. Tucked in close. He does go for the swing. The slow orb is out, but Neon is punished. Sign going to be able to do that one as well as Niceax gets another. And now here is the Rolling Thunder, but Texting's ready, but Sign even more ready for it. The last is locked behind the Sky Smoke. The Molotov is there. He doesn't give a damn. Goodbye, Maple, my friend. You are punished, and the fire keeps him out. Jeez, man, this is Bobo looking just so good, and then Maple goes down as well.
Yeah, that's a pretty good retake to come through, to be honest with you. The Rolling Thunder just to try and get a little bit of security in from Signed. One thing that I did see in that mix as well is Scroll's throwing his trap wires on the floor. So I saw Texter be able to jump over that to still be able to play in towards Sands, and he's doing it again. He's putting them there. So I do wonder if that's going to be something that maybe he looks to adjust a little bit later on to make sure that no one on Order can run through his traps. But I mean, regardless, didn't really have too much of an impact in that round because the retake was absolutely beautiful to come through from Bobo. And this is going to pose a problem for Order, right? They win the bonus round against lesser weaponry, but come first proper gun round for everyone, they drop that one. So this is Bobo carrying over everything that they were able to do in the previous map, the confidence in towards this. And the element of that Cypher here, Conky, gives difference. They have to break the traps. They have to try and get in. And that camera is ready to ping things on the map for Noz to spray the smokes.
And the Rolling Thunder is going to catch nobody. The way it's lined up right now, Maple has his wall ready. That's going to be the fast lane going in as well. And the overdrive for Disco. So he's in towards tower. They do get that control, and they're happy with it. But now they've surely got to be starting to beg the question, where the hell are the rest of these Bobo members? And there's a punishing Rolling Thunder to start to head its way back. It's awkward. RDW actually had the line, but he's going to be taken down as a result of it. Now Disco, the overdrive not going exactly where it needs to, but he does pull out the Frenzy. One for Maple, one for RDW. So a decent response back in. However, the Neural Theft will come out. Ronski gets the quick scope, and there's another in the swing. He does miss the line, though. Noz looking to peek on back in. But it's the masterminds in RDW and Ronski. A very kind of oddly played out round there in the end. You know, they were able to kind of wrap their way in, and Bobo had the pressure applied, but then they kind of broke down a little bit. So that were the ones that bring down on top.
It's a thrifty round and a wise idea for Texter to actually hold on to the Rolling Thunder for after it. They realize that they've seen no pressure, no over peaks to come out from Bobo, and they know that it potentially is already a bit of a retake style on that B side with where the utility placed as well, with what utility that Bobo was still holding on towards. So it's really quick adjusting you would expect from Texter to be able to come up with something like that. Send in Disco on the fast lane to create space, get that tower control, and then when they get the plant, they've got access to the tour de force for Ronski to just do what Ronski does best. Scope and shoot. It's absolutely beautiful. So, Rolling Thunder in. They 100% the round, essentially, on that thrifty for Order. It makes things more interesting and damages Bobo's economy to where they're running in with shorties in this round, essentially.
Yeah, Ronski being more activated is exactly what we want to see. And looking much better on that chamber, obviously having the position with the rendezvous to get out. Now we do see RDW drop in the Cosmic Divide. So this time it's a little different. There are a couple of members that are up nice and close. Damage dealt. The Bucky quite shorty right, not doing it, but an awkward peek in through as well. I thought with Scroll getting that pick, there might have been something potentially there, but otherwise it's nice and clean for alive. Only Dragon with the Sheriff. He's got a lot of work to do as the Cosmic Divide does go down. Disco's up in tower. Great shot from Dragon. That's something that's recoverable right now. Does get the slow orb in. He's not going to look to peek up and try and get that weapon, though, just yet. Damage dealt, but Maple sharp and clean. Resurrection available. And, yeah, round secured. So tied up now 3-3.
Yeah, and finally we're going to get a gun round from both of these sides as well. So this is where you're kind of wanting to have your best showcase of defensive style for Bobo and attacker style for Order. You got a couple of ultimates that are nearing their way. Noz 1 away from that orbital strike. Dragon 2 from the res for Bobo. So you'd love access toward that 6th man, specifically because Maple does as well. And if you're playing, you know, one heavy site, one weaker site, you want that res to be able to use for a retake if plausible. But I mean, regardless, it is another gun round, and that's the exciting thing of this one. Everybody has what they need to go in, and it's going to be the plan of action for some aggression over at the arcade. But who's going to be punching the right buttons at the moment? It seems to be Ronski. Look at the shots. He does get taken out after 1. But again, that resurrection is still workable for Order.
Yeah, a little bit rough there from Dragon, you know, trying to wall off the arcade there as early as possible, but he gets punished for it. We're sitting back at the bench now. Resurrection is there. They'll be able to pick that one up, so all is good. Ronski actually managed to get into the level as he passed out there, yeah. Same time, but they're all still pretty stuck, pretty locked back. You know, a couple of members on each side here for Bobo, but the advantage still going the way of Order.
And no real other space gathered for Bobo with the player down there when they get that res out as well for the side of Order. Only now they're starting to push through towards the tree and in towards the attacker spawn. So as far as information is concerned, it should be everything that Bobo needs to realize things are around this A site. But again, you're going to have to contend with Scroll and his Cypher setup. You got Noz playing Lurk as well. That wall is just trying to solidify things. And Order, they're not necessarily completely wanting to go in towards the A site. Disco can rotate completely quickly as well. And it's just going to be a free open B site. You can plant wherever you want at the moment. Left. And maybe Bobo beat them here because Order has slowed down. Maybe?
Look at the lurk from Disco. I guess that's the only thing I've kind of got my eye on right now. He's been sitting at the top of the drop, just waiting. Noz at least is ready for Ronski, so that's a big catch they do definitely need. You're exactly right. Is it going to be utilized? That will be the question. Where do they put it? Techstar, did he get spotted? Not quite, but I think now they know. There it is going to be. The orbital strike goes down at the right time. That is the round. That is done. RDW and Disco can't do a single thing. And 4 alive. This is going to be huge for Bobo as they move on into it. That's really, really awkward. He goes down 2 after time.
That's, he got scrolls.
Oh, man.
He got scrolls. That's okay. But I got to give really big props over towards Bobo in that round, right? They keep what they need over at the A site to stop Order from going in, but they don't fully peel off the B site. They push down toward the tree, and they get a little bit of a pause happening because they realize that the flank can go back. Order can go back to the B site, and if you've got no one there, you have to shift in towards a retake if you're expecting them to already have control of the site. So the fact that Noz gets that orbital strike Conky, if he loses that duel, it means a plant for Order and numbers advantage for a retake, that it might just be a save call for Bobo. So the fact he gets that single kill and the orbital strike to deny the plant, no one for Order close enough to pick it back up and get it down on the floor, that is the one of, but probably the main thing that gets Bobo that round.
Perfect time again for Coach Dick Stacey to give the boys a bit of a pep talk. Whilst obviously over with them in Thailand, giving them all the motivation they need. You know, we've had a bit of an opportunity in recent times to chat to Dick Stacey about how the boys are kind of going. He believes in them a lot and knows that they've got the capacity to do it. It's just really about finding this sweet spot. Like, looking at the 5 that Order currently have, again, has so much capacity inside it. Like, all having individual ability by way of aim and decision-making just needs to be polished out to a point where it can compete against, you know, especially like regions like EMEA. I think that's where the pressure really does lie. APAC also looking very, very strong as we move into this LCQ too. So huge amounts of opportunity for Order to make a statement for themselves, but I think Bobo are just looking to do it exactly the same.
Fault line in, deeper flash as well. It's only the slow orb that is really going to keep them back, but there is a lot of utility that's being dumped in from both of the sides at the moment. Things will start to settle down. That's A control. Right now, all of the holes gathered for Bobo. They've still got Noz looking over towards drop as well. So with the wall being broken, it's a reload. Techs caught in the open. You don't need to see any over-aggression now from Bobo. They've still got access to this resurrection. They've got a player advantage. They literally can shift everything into containment protocols now.
I got spiked.
The hesitancy has been wild. Just constantly, we are seeing this from Bobo put Order into positions where they feel the discomfort. Like, look at them now. Signed, ready. Does have the fault line, ready to knock down. Nice Hacks is going to get that first spot. Goes out perfectly, but oh, it's a little awkward. It catches him just as an absolute
shot
tickle, but Nicehack still keeps his composure and gets it done. How does he find a 3K there?
He gets stunned, and it's, you know, still one bullet headshot with the Vandal, but the fact he's disoriented and the first one goes straight, that is that is something dirty from Nicehack. And I am really glad to see for Bobo's safe longevity. I don't know which word you would really pose here. Strength in this grand final. Let's go with that. That he's fragging in this one, right? It's not just assists. He's finding space. He's finding impact. He's finding damage. It's absolutely wonderful to be able to witness. But flip it on the other side for a moment, and for Order, they got 3 rounds. You know, if they can make it at 8-4, 7-5, you know, if they can make it at 7-5 and they are the 5, that's still pretty okay. But they got pistols that they have to try and play with in this round. And the overdrive from Disco, the dash is already used. He needs to be able to find some sort of opening for his team to be able to just get some control, because a lot of these rounds from them have been quite slow.
Oh,
and
the
there
catch.
you go. There's the trap. It comes on through. Dragon, Noz holding down the fort. Ronski good for 1 in the trade, but are they going to be able to get the remainder of this round? And his shot, Ronski's gone
Quick
big.
scope. Little awkward. Certainly a tough one now, because you can see in this 3v3 they're not exactly 100% sure on what they want to do, but great timing there from RDW, able to get the catch on the sign. Now Scroll gets into tower. Did he actually get away without being spotted? That's going to be the question, because look at Nicehack. He's got the spike Komodo. He's able to also pull away from Ronski, puts him into a very awkward spot now. Now RDW getting caught by the judge, and he's also the jury, the executioner.
1 shot left.
Now Ronski has to continue to go exactly right, but Nicehack is the enemy again, the aggressor. Gonna have to take this man to court right now, as he is doing it all.
Yeah, well,
6-3, stealing from Order.
Someone's posted bail for him, man. He's gotten away with it again. The positioning, the frags. Nicehack is having a good one, but for Ronski, I mean, a couple of shots to come out there, Conky, and it just doesn't get away from it. And I gotta admit, right, it would have been a thrifty round for Order to come through. They had Spectre, they had one Vandal, whichever one it was, I can't quite remember. But they used the overdrive, and they use the tour de force. It's an okay purchase to come in, right? It's what you need to try and get the job done. It's the bottom line, I would say. But again, Bobo, they do what they need to do. And off the get-go, tree control, showstopper in, and Order are turtling around the dish.
Trademark is gonna catch him, so at least there is that info. Still Ronski cruising around. Dragon's gonna get the catch, I think, here. No. A little bit shaky on the aim there, because Disco already all the way through on towards this A site right now, which is home free. They're going to be able to take that one. And I guess the, again, position is Ronski. How much can he find? The answer is not much. He does get that one on the lurk. Now, Nicehack's forced away. Actually going to be able to avoid the Rolling Thunder here, so not much taken. But as that site is getting planted, Maple goes very far forward. Scroll, Noz, they're ready for it. Komodo again. They are just doing it all here. Bobo, the wrap in, the synergy, the team dynamic. Now RDW drops a couple of stars, but, you know, is he going to be struck here in this position, up in drop? Texas still locked off behind the wall, but this is again the thing which I'll touch on after the round about these Sage walls. Well, it's all wrapping around together.
It's funneling them in, and now that it's broken, they know that Texter is on the bottom of the side of the default line. He's going to be throwing out the fault line, but the aftershock is going to force him out into the open. Manages to find one. RDW now the last soldier, waiting, buying his time to jump out of the drop smoke. There's the first one. Saw that Noz is on toward the defuse location, but RDW can hold it true for Order. And a 4th round is what they desperately were seeking.
Clutch Minister in RDW. There was something that he used to do on, you know, all of his previous rosters, being able to keep that composure in the 1vx situation. And this round's no different. Perfect position. Drops down at the right timing, straight through the sky smoke, and able to get the job done. So one thing I will ask you, as a man who does like to get his toes wet inside the server of Valorant regularly, bit of Sage on this map. Like, it's not something I've been seeing all the time around, and there's a lot of gaps in these walls. What is sort of being dragged through with a choice like Sage?
Resurrection, slow ability, combinations of timing with concussions as well, and I think the biggest thing for Sage on a map like Fracture is just time to be bought, really. The wall to just block your opponents, the slows to make them more vulnerable, like a concussion. And the fact that if you're looking at an A-side execute, or even a B-side execute for that fact, there is a single wall that can block off a lot of entry line and make it really difficult. Like that wall there, right, that they've just thrown out, it cuts off 2 angles into all the site and leaves 1 exposed. Just so happens that this 1 angle that's exposed is where Nicehack is playing and able to find some damage in. He gets taken out. So now it's safety to plant pretty much where they want. They came through drop, so they know there's no aftershock that can come through there. But planning in the default line does mean they're kind of vulnerable to maybe a little bit of other damage. The incendiary, the orbital strike is there, but it's an open plant. I actually really love this at the moment, and they're just taking space. Ron's just going and fragging. Maybe it's a save now for Bobo, but Ronski is doing it again. And now it's just down to Signs coming in through towards the main line, and it's already been heard from Maple. It's been commed. RDW to put down another smoke. But I think personally, the biggest thing that you want to see from a Sage in this nice 4K, love to say it. The biggest thing you want to see from a Sage in this map is just maximizing that wall placement and slow timing, really.
Yeah. Nah, cool. Understood. Makes sense. And just seeing it like picked up a little bit more certainly does, make it a bit of a statement that the viability is there. But members that we've talked about, Komodo, so far in this series, right? Ronski sitting up the top 14-9, around like that. A little bit, I guess, shaky the sense that he can still get that 4K even though dropping out with the knife out. He's ready. His aim is back on. That's exactly what we need to be seeing for a team like Order to take it forward. But now last round of the half, Senpai, he's called for the pause to have a conversation. It has been very much so Order, much more heavy on the pauses to have that conversation. So good to see that Bobo is still doing exactly that. Our, international import in the coach of Senpai, as we spoke about. Well, but nice. That's the other one, right? 15 and 5. He's just been so good with his movement around the map.
The lads that were having a little bit of an underwhelming performance in the previous map that was, picked up the slack by their teammates are now putting forward that performance. So how quickly the turntables when you change a map name. But yeah, I think in my rambling of the Sage thing, and a lot of people will have different arguments and different things for that. I think the power of Sage in this map comes through the walls, that when you're on attack, you can block off a multitude of angles to make it easier to get into a site. And when you're on the defense, you're on the defense, you can block off a rush, you can protect yourself for the defuse. There's, general Sage things.
I think the biggest thing, in that is just the way that the compositions are going to change over time, depending on how the meta goes. Nerfs and buffs, which Riot do love, so good opening here for Maple. Yeah. Leave the KO in. Okay, so where's the movement coming in here? Very big amounts of control. I think RDW is going to be ready for this. They do clear. He gets 2, though. So that's going to be a really, really quick, clean, and crispy round.
Yeah,
come out in for Order to close out the half. 6-6. Yeah, exactly right. And that's, again, a big sort of position where we are seeing Maple activate on this stage and Ronski doing big things. So scoreline's still relatively even. We've got the one hard carry. It trickles down from there. It's looking okay, but we haven't really seen, I guess, much out of Disco from a fragging perspective. He's just been the first one into the site every single time, utilizing the fast lane and the speed of the Neon to take that control, the relay bolt as well. So at least that's been able to give them enough space to start off strong on this attacker's side. How's he going to look on the defense is going to be my question.
It's really funny. I'm actually just looking at this. The top fraggers from the previous map are on the bottom here, and the bottom fraggers are on the top. That is literally the definition of flipping it over. But yeah, I think it's going to be the similar story from the previous map, right? We've got a 6-6 half again here, and it really comes down for me. My interest is just what the difference looks like for these teams. How does Order's defense now compare to what we saw from Bobo? How does the attack do the same, right? And this is one of those things with the wall. On a pistol round, buying a Sage wall is stupid, right? Because you can't shoot through it. You have to start knifing it, and if you've got 2 players on the other side of the wall, it can be pretty damaging. So for Maple right now, he needs to get at least 1. He gets that, but traded. Extra damage to Noz. I think you're still okay with that kind of if you are Order.
There's 3 members here, so that's going to be the big thing. The defense here for Order. Does get the aftershock out. Texter manages to get 1. Nice hacks on the trade. Is he going to be responded to, though? How's Texter walked away with 2 here? Still alive, still kicking. Nice hacks looking the wrong way, and now it's all left on to Noz, who is a master with these pistols. Big Noz, big frags. Big round, and Bobo take the lead 7-6.
Mate, that was kind of chaotic, right? A couple of trades coming through from here and there, players popping out wherever. RDW lurking in the tower, not cleared, but then he gets traded out by Noz in the end, that somehow sneaks late through Arcade and is able to find them, I believe. So really big plays to come through from him again. Conky, I'm going to hit you with a statistic, and I'm hoping that it wows you, because it should. Bobo are 4 from 4 pistols.
Yeah. Look, it always does sort of throw it around, right? Because, to have such a close game, 4 for 4 on pistols, and it's still this tight. That is a statement to be made about how the gun rounds are looking at times, right? And how Order are able to keep their composure and drag their way back into it. So definitely a big sort of thing, stuff to work on for Bobo as time does go on. RDW ready for 1, but obviously Dragon slowed down by that fault line, makes it awkward. Now Texter looking to flash his way back in. Here we go, the chaos with the classic. Ronski gets another, and we're seeing it all the amount of times this thing happens. Valorant is indeed a game of eco rounds. And 2 on 3.
Look at this,
I mean,
though.
the only
Look at the
difference
flank. Look
maker
at the
is that Disco's low, but you're exactly right. He's ready for it. Is there going to be a turn from side? I don't think so. No, Maple, no, you had one job. One job and you go down 2 on 2. This is rough. Scroll gets it done. Disco 3 points of HP with a classic.
How does it go?
Oh, it all falls apart.
Even though it's pistols and stuff for order, you don't win a blah blah, you lose a blah blah. The flank is there. He's walled himself. He's walled the trip. By the way, just so you know, Maple walled off the trip to get over it to get that flank happening. So you don't have to just, you know, updraft or TP or whatever. He's used his Sage Wall to get past that piece of utility. And unfortunately, I'm going to use the word unfortunately here with my heart sinking. Maple's Classic doesn't look as powerful as the rest of his teammates did then.
The amount of times we see it made in all levels of competitive play. You've got the flank of the century, you've got the trigger discipline of the year, and it all falls apart. It all goes pear-shaped. You know, it happens time and time again, and you cannot over-criticize one moment. But it's an important moment because in the end, Bobo do manage to keep around to be turned over and be secured when they did lose a lot for not a whole lot coming out from order. So big statement to be made. Very important bonus here now is obviously with those 3 members going down, they've only got sheriffs on 3 of their members and no shield for Dragon either.
No, great damage actually to come through, all things considered, in the previous round, even though Bobo did find, you know, both pistols, both secondary rounds. It's looking really good to try and run it from here, but it's the rifle rounds that look powerful from order, and that's what they've got right now. Disco to peek through the door at the perfect timing. Texas to assist. He's been a little bit by the wayside in this game so far. The defensive side has really stepped him up, and now it's Disco just exercising the kit of the Neon quite nicely, just being tricky in the movement realm, and RDW will get the trade in the end. So as far as the gun rounds are concerned, Order looking strong on those specifically, and this is no different. They pick it up.
So what are going to look like in camp? Bobo, obviously little to no damage being dealt. Only Disco having to reinvest there, making sure that he's got Vandal with the light shield behind him. So I'm liking it so far. He again, hasn't really had a chance to go absolutely nuclear so far. You know, still 9 and 13. Texas doing his job. You're never going to expect a breach to be atop of the server. It happens sometimes, but, you know, around the block, he's just sort of sitting back, flashing his team in. And now, move in towards the A-hole. Do believe there's going to be many a battle for this area on this side, as Bobo do seem to like to take the fight here. Lurk out, obviously, from Scroll, seeing if anyone does pop towards the arcade. But a 3-man lean for now on the B side for Order.
Yeah, they've got Disco 1 away from Overdrive, Texter 1 away from Rolling Thunder. Those could be pretty powerful. Specifically, the Rolling Thunder from Texter is something that I would love to be able to see them gather in this round to stop Bobo from getting into a site, get a retake from that side, but flipping it over, right? This is Bobo's first gun purchase in this half, right? It's their first gun round, and they're waiting, and I love this. They wall over the other wall, and it's going to be an explosive entry in toward the A side. But look at it. We're getting ready to see the push through from Maple through the smokes. No, he's got no flashes. His teammates can't assist him. This may very well be a 5 versus 5 retake. A bit of a flank from Scroll over at the other side at the arcade. Neural theft for information. That is actually wonderful information to come through from Bobo here.
Yeah, solo dolo, but he gets the job done, and now he's actually wrapping straight towards the main position behind A. So Texter gets one in now. That's the Rolling Thunder activated. Sends it out in towards main. It's going to be Niceax who's in position, but he messes it up. Now the Molotov does get sent out, but it's Ronski straight through. And now both members, they're so far away. And Ronski, here he is. I've missed you, my friend. You're looking good. And you got another round for your team, 8-8 here. And this is the series that is living up to the demand that we expect here in a grand final for the VALORANT Oceanic Tour.
That was a great retake to come through from Order, and specifically, you know, what I wanted to see, right? I mentioned that Rolling Thunder to be able to utilize in the retake, but just before that as well, right? The fact that the Neural Theft comes out from Scroll, maybe a little bit of flustering to the Bobo members specifically. It was almost like that Neural Theft coming from Bobo gave Order the time to just go in together as a unit. The trades were there. Again, you know, I think this is the 3rd time I'm going to make mention to it because it's so important and powerful. Is Ronski. He just goes in and shoots, takes the heads off his opponents, makes it look easy, and is really able to fine-tune things for Order to pick up that previous round. And, not to mention, they let him get the defuse till he's 1 away from the tour.
Was the punishment that, you know, we saw on the previous map where they were able to stop the Jet from, you know, creating that space and getting in first, whereas now as he is on this chamber, he's looking way, way better and happy to pop out with that rendezvous now. And he gets 2 before he's taken down. Niceax, good response, but again, a lot lost. Relay boat also comes out, doesn't quite catch what it needs to. They're stuck against a wall. And quite literally, as we talk about that wall, it's going to be a Vandal recovered. Now can they go up to drop? Probably not, because the relay bolt makes it awkward. But Dragon looks into the face of adversity right there. Texter good for the trade. Now Signed, last man standing. Texter should be able to find it here. Only the Sheriff, so Signed's going to have to do some crazy things. A little bit of a team flash there makes it awkward, but that's a great gravity well indeed. Gravity well into the aftershock, and that is a left-right good night for Signed as Order take the lead.
Good combo, easy combo. You know, one of a plain and simple, but sometimes plain and simple is just what you need, right? And now I'm actually kind of second guessing myself as well, Mitch. I don't know if Vronsky actually got the defuse. I think Disco might, because I don't recall him getting a kill and he got his ult at the end of the round. Doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. The important thing right now is that Order take the lead. It's the first real time we've actually seen a little bit of momentum going in their way. They do have that tour for Vronsky if he wants. They've got Disco, who can go very, very quick with this overdrive too to get some early damage out. But he's just going to send the relay bolt, the reverse fault line, and the slow orb. That's what I was mentioning to you early, right? Default combination slow orb and a fault line means you get a good amount of control at one side of the map. And that's immediately shifting Bobo to the other side right now. In amongst the holes, Texter's pinging it out. He knows exactly what's happening, calling for Disco's rotation, and you're still seeing a little bit of a how do you do from Maple over at the tree. So this is all the information you really need for Order to, at least for the next 20 or so seconds, to still keep yourselves here, because you're expecting maybe a peak for now.
Kane. He's punished. Nos is going to be ready for it. That's exactly what they were doing in that previous map, Komodo, but it's only going to be enough for one for now as Niceaxe gets the trade. Disco, though, good from heaven. Now the res comes through, as you mentioned, and they're going to be able to at least keep it happy for now. Good lurk from Scroll. One punish, but Spike drop. That is big. That is a very, very big position to be thrown in from RDW now, but as it goes into that 1v3, it's going to be awkward. Does he want to try and fight inside this Nebula? It looks like he will. The other side of the tripwire, he's right there. This is a big, ballsy play from RDW. And now he's nervous. Now he's cautious. They line up, but I wanted him to win that round purely on the basis of it would have been crazy to witness, but the body block works. 10 HP for Scroll. And just to break down how Scroll's positioning won them that round, huge lurk from the dish there.
He's been able to exercise this lurk like pretty much to how you want a lurker to be, right? The standard set of util over towards Arcade means that Order can't push through. They haven't even tempted Fate there, I don't believe, yet, just by that trapwire being there. And they're kind of playing on the bottom half of the map if you look towards the radar. But I gotta say, man, could you imagine if RDW accidentally walked into that trapwire? Would have been hilarious. But anyways, 9 apiece. Lots of ultimates to be able to play with for both of these sides, and an ambitious peak from Vronsky. Again, he lost it last time. He's going to win it this time. Nope. Bit of a flick down. And now it's time to maybe run in towards the B side together.
Yeah, at least they've been able to force him off the line. He does go back towards the canteen. Maple, though, finding an important pick, but he's caught up in the sky. And now Vronsky a little bit far behind. Look at this rotation, though. They're just going to have to deal with Disco. We do have Scroll heading back. Cam is there. So I think he actually might have spotted him out, potentially. Yeah, having a look now. So they walk on back. The rotation coming through from Disco, from RDW still, sorry, to support Disco. His position is fantastic.
He's so
he knows exactly where the cam is but he's going to be punished, so it's not even going to matter. So that lurk, that slowdown that they weren't happy to overextend and over-aggress in towards Vronsky, now they can peel back and actually try and find this fight. Sign's got the weaponry to do it. RDW also has a Vandal in hand, but that's going to be Texter going down, so it's all going to be on to Ardy, and the shake, unfortunately, can't quite connect on it. Now Vronsky gets one, but now he's done. Lead taken back by Bobo, and my God, is that the swing round? The catch is really awkward, Komodo.
That's really unfortunate for RDW because the Pinocchio gun barrel through the smoke, he got the info earlier on that there's a player, there's an opponent there. And as you mentioned, just a little bit shaky, really, really rough to come through. Would it have been the turntail thing in the round to swing it back to Order? Look, maybe. He's still got stars. Cosmic Divide could have thrown into the mix as well if he won that frag for a retake, stopping Bobo from getting back in towards that side. You never really know in those situations. But the fact that it goes Bobo's way means they take back the lead and they're playing against this forced up kind of half-bot weird round of Order. You want to see more from Disco there. He gets one for the overdrive and traded. That res is probably not coming out from Order, but maybe it might be worth it with all these abilities that are starting to come on through. The pressure around Signed, around Niceaxe right now. IDW's flank is happening as well. This round, Order, they throw caution to the wind. They hold W, and it works out.
Jeez. Straight down into the tree, and they get the job done, and the RDW on his famed lurk. Man, oh man, that was like, I guess, exactly how I felt what we were seeing on the previous map, is Bobo were applying the pressure and making Order sort of question themselves. That was the exact opposite, where Order straight up into Bobo's grill. They're already being flanked in, and I guess exactly how we witness as Fracture being a very unique map in F-side FPS titles in the way it operates. How you're able to be locked in as an attacker straight off the bat is how they end up winning the round.
Yeah, it's something different and experimental that I like that Riot is able to do, right? I love the risk-taking, I guess you'd say, with the maps that they're doing. I'm very keen to see how Pearl is going to play when that is available in competitive. But right now, we've got Order walling Ronsky in front of the door because he can rendezvous out, right? It's one of those things. He can take this fight when the door opens. He can get back to some safety. But then you also kind of have at the moment Bobo wondering what's actually going to be happening. Scroll is still on his little bit of a lurk, and I get the feeling that this is one of those plays for Bobo that is just going to be an explosive execute onto the site, and they may even use the orbital strike over towards, CT just to ensure that they've got positioning in toward it. If they don't, then it shifts towards post plant. And a weaker side of the map, this is going to be very interesting to see a retake for Order.
Yeah, my eyes are on Scroll once more, like his positioning. They've gone straight through the canteen. They're leaving it open completely. And do they want this plant? Yes, they do, but they are all starting to fall back in towards main. They've punished Ronsky, which again is that key member. Do they see the lurk? I don't think he did. Yeah, Disco saw him.
Yep.
But at least it keeps the interest. At least they know. Are they questioning it? Do they think the rotation? Do they think it's B? They do. The IGL of Texter started to turn his way around Komodo, looking the other way. And now look how close they are. Door opens. And hello, Dragon. One is done. But RDW Texter getting the trade back. It's a 3-on-2. The disadvantage goes the way here of Bobo. But it's Noz. He has that orbital strike here, Komodo. How are they going to do it? All three members walking through the tap. The defuse, it starts to come through. They can get it to half, but that's done. Done, but he's done his job here as he walks on through. Time is ticking. Can he get onto the catch? Can he get onto the catch? He's got a spray. He's got a hose, but no, not quite. And that's Order taking the lead again.
Wow. Oh, wow. An attempt from Noz. Order retake looking great. I want to take away that lurk piece that you were talking about there as well, whilst this timeout does come in, right? So Scroll being seen by Disco on that lurk, immediately communicating to Texter that is a big frag to get, right? Scroll can turn that round upside down if that flank works out for him. So the fact that Texter sends the fault line down and Disco dashes in to get that kill, absolutely massive to get there first. Now I'm going to take away something in that round from Bobo, right? The fact that Order pushed them to try and find it, know they're playing a sort of post plant, knowing the orbital strike is there. They go 1-to-1. You can hot potato the defuse through that orbital strike, right? Get one player to get on it first. You can get it to half, and then the other one 3.5 seconds to get the rest of it. I was kind of wondering for myself, is Noz going to be playing that post-plant lineup, right? Me and you, we saw it over in APAC when the Order boys were overseas, right? We saw that incendiary lineup on Fracture just outside of where Sign is standing right now, and then the orbital strike as well, that they got the round.
Old mate from Xerxia. Scary.
Yep,
that's right.
Exactly
the big man.
Right.
The big man.
I was wondering if that was actually going to be something that Bobo were going to throw into the mix. Noz, if you're watching this in the future, please go learn that Molly lineup. It's really, really cool.
Ooh, that's nice the question.
Try,
did he have the Molly?
He had the incendiary. Yes, he did.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that's rough because even potentially looking to put that down on the diffusal that was coming through. But I guess it's scrappy. There's only a half tick of the stick exactly. So there's plenty of things to kind of question in your decision making. But once again, Tree is taking control of this time. We see Bobo walking through the arcade, but unfortunately no pinball will be played this time. Looking to try and secure all the tickets in the round. Wall goes down. And they're actually looking to wrap in. Yeah, I like this, but unfortunately it's not going to work out because they're ready for it. Ronsky and Texter, look at this. Beautiful stuff with that Rolling Thunder. They must have been completely aware of this. A good response from Sign, but Maple RDW getting it done. It's all left on to Scroll, so the wrap, unfortunately, is denied, and they lose the battle here, as that is going to be map point here, Komodo, to go for a 1-to-1 scoreline.
It's something different. It's to try and catch Order off guard, maybe get in a little bit of that, through the defenders spawn towards the B site. No, towards the A site. Weird play. It's getting my mind out there. And Scroll's lurk in the end, taken out as well, technically, if you want to think of it. But Rolling Thunder timing to come out from Dexter, little did he know, maybe actually the biggest thing there to not get overwhelmed by all the pistols. As you mentioned, right there. Map point to Order, and they've still got Resurrection. They're using the Tour de Force. They've got a Cosmic Divide. This is everything that you want from Order to be able to close it out here. And a contest already at the dish as well. Look at it. They're already putting the punishment down on
Have they managed to find it? This could be huge. Nice has walked away with 2. All the utility that they've spurned then, but then Ronski straight into it. He's been caught off by the tripwire. But it has been taken down. It has been destroyed. Now it's going to be onto RDW in this position. He's close. And the Sky Smoke is not going to catch him. 1, 2 for RDW. And now it's all left on to the 2 remaining members in Scroll and Sign. And that Rolling Thunder straight on out. But the slow walk back from Maple. And that wall that you talk about. He's up on top. And he might even get the peek here. Maple, big brain on top.
And
Resurrection available. 1 versus 4. Scroll, if there's any, never mind. He's lost. I tried to talk the talk, but unfortunately they could not walk the walk. And Ronski, atop of the scoreboard, 26 and 16, will be the victor here for Order as we see a repeat scoreline in 13-10 on their map selection of Fracture.
And dropping both pistols in subsequent rounds as well. That just goes to showcase how fluid Order were on their rifle rounds to be able to close that down. The positioning that they were able to and fro with, the numbers that they were able to trade in as well. You know, a couple of 1s or 2s in there that were really paramount to be able to find their success in the end. And again, you know, they were no strangers to be able to take space on the defensive side, right? We saw them just push Arcade there. We've seen them push in towards holes. We've seen them push down towards the tree time and time again. It was just really aggressive defensive style from Order that was coming on through that Bobo, I don't know, weren't necessarily ready for. Even if they were ready for it, Order were just 1 step ahead. So I absolutely love to see that come out from Texas Judgment, to realize the gaps from Bobo, realize that they can't really get out that containment on the against the defensive side, and 13-10 to end up there means, Conky, that we are guaranteed at least here to get in that 4th map for this series in Breeze.
Absolutely, and I guess it's just another credit to Texas, you know, as we're seeing here in the Samsung replay, is just like how good we saw so many big moments come through and how impactful the utility was a lot of these rounds. You know, we talked a lot about Sage and the impact. We talked a lot about how Ronski moving over towards that chamber was looking really, really good because he was basically dead in the water on Haven, on that jet. But, you know, still Order, despite having Ronski not activated on that previous map, they still made it close. They still made it exciting. And now when we get to see the Ronski effect coming through, they win out the map. Disco did exactly what he needed to do on that Neon. And yeah, we got to see a lot of really, really cool things. Like, this is probably one of the closest grand finals that we've witnessed in quite some time. Been there for basically every single thing since Valorant has launched in Oceania alongside you, Komodo. And yeah, it certainly is leaning into that position where I think you sort of painted the picture of these are our 2 best teams, and the teams are improving on each other and pushing each other further.
Yes, and I'm thinking right now, what is the most important takeaway from that? It's the fact that these guys, whoever wins, is getting an international spot. And if they're able to push each other further when it comes to a grand final, that is going to be, you know, what is kind of required to see more from these teams. Because if you're thinking about an international state, you're thinking about an international match, there probably are teams out there in that international stage that, you know, a lot of people will say are better than your Bobo and your Order. And they're going to have to be putting in that more wow factor to get into what a game like that. So if we locally have these teams pushing each other, it's going to make them draw out more things that they might have to do so early on overseas.
Yeah, absolutely. With teams like Zeta and, of course, you know, Paper X going huge at the last Masters, we know how strong the APAC region is. So getting that spot, getting that opportunity to not only compete, but to scrim, to practice. You know, we're already seeing teams here scrim on those Singaporean servers to get the experience. And all we can say is the more teams that play, the more teams that compete, they push each other up. And that's how we get better as a region. But we're going to talk about that later because we want to see more about what this series has to offer as we've got another map around the corner. We'll throw it to a quick break. Until then, take care. Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back. We are here for now what is going to be map number 3. Finally, we've got a series on our hands. It's right here. We can see it in clear sight. Komodo back on your screens. And now, as Icebox is around the corner here, Dion, Order have sort of had some shifty results on a map like this, right? You know, really strong on Fracture, really strong on Split, really strong on Breeze. But how do you think they're going to go up against a really, really hot-looking Bobo on Icebox?
I actually think they'll do okay, and the reason I say that is because they've been able to refigure out their kind of Icebox structure, specifically when it came against Fun Crew the other day. The Order were just, you know, getting up in their face, making sure the fundamentals were there, and not really allowing them to waltz around the map. The mid control was really good, the A early info was really cool, and then you just got a fundamentally strong B side as well, where if you've got that lean towards A, B side, you know, you can leave your one player there, whether it be Texter, whether it be RDW, whoever they decide is actually going to play the smoking role on this one. You can still be comfortable with that. So I think in terms of Icebox right now, there is a lot that Bobo probably need to be throwing more in toward this one than the likes of Order. But you got to remember as well that Order have, you know, they've played Bobo recently on toward this map like a month and a bit ago, maybe a little bit too long before it. But they won in overtime. So again, you know, all of these maps, the 13-10, sorry, so far, the longevity's sake, it can get towards that overtime point. But I'm really just wondering for Icebox right now, again, are we just going to see anything different, or are we going to these normal rosters of agent lineups? Are we going back to what we know from Order and for Bobo? Because I get the feeling from myself, like I want to see something new thrown into all this grand final. But I guess if they're playing what they normally know, then if they're doing it strong, it doesn't really matter.
Well, exactly right. Like, I think, you know, the point I wanted to very briefly touch on in exactly that light was how on the previous map we see something that is indeed different from Order, you know, pulling out Disco onto that Neon and obviously RDW back onto the smokes as opposed to, you know, handing the chamber over to Ronsky. They won. They did it. They made it happen. So that's kind of, I guess, a bit of a sign on what they're expecting. You know, they switch back to their old structure on Haven, and maybe it's going to be a thing of, you know, how we see some of the other teams in the APAC region in no one's like hard set on a role. Maybe it kind of flows between maps and who's sort of feeling it a little bit more on the day. Definitely think that Order's going to have a bit more structure than, you know, whoever sharp picks it up. That's definitely a different story because, yeah, ultimately what we saw on that previous map showed that they were structured and ready to rock and roll. So let's just hope that maybe Icebox, they've got some flash to show, and if it's something that is a little bit different, it's got to be consistent because, you know, we need that now because there will be obviously, you know, a little bit of time before they do herd overseas, wherever it's going to be, to, you know, get that practice in prior to the actual event itself. But is that going to be enough time to overhaul a lineup, you know, when you're going to be playing against some of the best teams in the region?
Look, probably not, to be honest with you, but you know that these guys, whoever wins, is going to be putting in all of the effort between now and going overseas to figure out their best strong suit going forward. For what we've heard from Texas so far for Order, it's probably going to be a bit of focus on maybe those agent shifts, or maybe having the possibility of playing with the agent shifts better against those other teams and still having, you know, what they know and love previously available still. And I was just actually bringing up the statistics of that Xbox map for these guys where they played previously. It actually was in the grand final to decide who went overseas last time between these two guys with the stage 2 grand final. That 3-0 towards Order. 14-12 to Order in map number 1. So it was actually Icebox the opener of the series. Then it was Haven, and then it was Fracture. We just had those two maps, and Order smacked Bobo last time on both of them. This time, Order actually got, you know, one map taken off them. So it is a completely different series right now, and that's the element that we need to do, and I was waiting for this.
Yeah, here it is. This is what we're looking for, that difference in the change. We're not going to see a Jet. We are going to see Disco back onto the Killjoy, so that's a comfort pick for him. RDW onto the Viper. You love to see it. Texter on the Sage. And yeah, Maple picking up that fade. We've seen him do a little bit. I think he's picked it up a couple of times on Bind, if I'm not mistaken. So that's going to be awesome to see how that one fares out. But, you know, the terror is brought down by this fade. We've seen it again internationally already. It's really sort of not coming in too much. Like, I think, you know, we've seen Mike pick it up a couple of times here locally. But, you know, it's going to be over to Bobo, where it's looking like a temptation for your sake in the KO, and Scrawl potentially going back onto the Sova. So very, very different agent lineups here.
So what I
which
wanted
is a
to
huge
say,
thing.
and just briefly as well, is the fact that this is the new lineup, right, for Order on Icebox, right? It is shifting their agents to put RDW on the Viper, Texter on the world stage. They've changed it all up, and as you mentioned, no Jet, Ronsky playing in towards the chamber instead. So it's the duelist comp. duelist-less comp, the no duelist comp to come through for Order. But the flip side for Bobo, you know, they've run the KO pretty much since the inception of this roster. You just change it over towards, you know, the very start of the year where they actually ran double duelists instead, Jet and Reyna. So yeah, changing it on over now. Again, you know, rosters that we've seen these guys play with before, and this composition for Order, you know, they won it against Fun Crew 13-6, so it should be comfortable.
Yeah, for sure. So the Samsung 49-inch Odyssey Neo G9 features 1000R curvature inspired by the human eye, 32:9 screen ratio, and Samsung's core-sync lighting to deliver exceptional immersion. Samsung's been a big part of this tournament, so a big shout to them. Now, into Icebox. As we mentioned, new composition, new changes, comfortable agents, I would say, at the same time. Are these changes going to be exactly what we need from Order, or is Bobo going to crush back on their selection? Komodo, whatever it is, I hope it's going to be a close one because it's been exciting so far. And again, winner not only wins $11,000, Komodo, they will go to the APAC LCQ for a shot at Champions.
Indeed, that is the one. And just remember as well, whilst you add the loom of the new lineup for Order, they've played it once. So it's kind of new, but it's not the spanking brand new and their first time playing it in the competitive environment. That was against Fun Crew yesterday, where Fun Crew got 13-6. So unfortunately for them, but for Order right now, they're going to be going in towards this one. Starting on the attacker side, and now Conky. That timer is hitting 0, and my question to you is, will Order finally win a pistol here?
4 for 4 for Bobo, we'll have to see. But again, you know, to go 4 for 4 pistols and to lose 13-10 on Fracture is, you know, more of a statement to Bobo as opposed to Order. So Noz, he's going to be sitting back, taking charge of that Viper here on the in-game leader's side. Very important agent on a map like Icebox. They're up nice and close. The snakebite will go down, and that wall is there as well. Noz, though, going to activate. He gets one, he gets a second. The fadeaway, the man's taken no damage. 3! Noz, the titan of this A side on the pistol warrior. We've already seen aces, we've seen multi-frags, and the man is doing it again, and now he's tucked into this cubby. They are up very, very close here, Komodo. He continues to keep his eye on that spike. His boy Sign has the line. He's going to get 4. He's taken, but Papa Noz does it again. It's all left on to Disco. Nice hacks of punish. 5 for 5 pistols, and Bobo lead out strong here on Icebox.
I need someone to go back through the VOD right now on Twitch and tell me how many pistol kills Noz has gotten in these bloody rounds, because he got the ace. That's a 4K just there. This man is an absolute king when it comes to these pistols. And for Order, yeah, 0 for 5 pistols is certainly going to be a point of contention for them. They need to be able to figure things out there. And remember as well, we actually have seen a bonus round go towards Bobo as well. So, deja vu, pistol towards Bobo, a save towards Order. It's now on a Bobo just to make sure this round is clean and have enough in the bonus for the next. Yeah, not really drop any guns, I guess you'd say.
No, exactly. But look, I guess the thing we go back on is even though Order are losing those rounds, you know, we are still seeing them, the gun rounds converted for Order. So, you know, a bit of a credit to both sides in what they need to work on right now. As Maple is suppressed on this Neon, he will fall away. The Haunt does go out, get some info, so at least there will be that spot out. But Noz drops down Texter and Ronsky. He's going to be tagged up by this snakebite, so that's going to be awkward for him. A great snakebite actually over the top from Noz, doing so much. He gets another nice hacks also to drop RDW, so it's left to the 2 members. Disco, Ronsky. Noz is up in heaven, and now he can just sort of spot underneath. He knows the plant is coming. I guess that's a good result in the end to be able to find that spike plant. Ronsky's going to go down, and I do believe we are going to see Disco fall as well, but it is after taking down Noz. So they have 4 alive. That's going to be 3 Spectres and the Marshal to go into this next round here. So will they find the bonus, or will Order fight back? This one is a map where we do see it still, I guess, a little bit more defender-sided. So let's see how these next couple of rounds do pan out.
Just a little bit of an interesting thing for me there was the fact that Scroll brings out the drone and kind of like immediately gets off it. So I wonder what the decision was there. Just go as a unit and get the trades, or send in drone for info. Regardless, the round is over towards Bobo. And they're dropping 1 gun means that Dragon, you know, is kind of just going to be with his Headhunter in this round. There's no problems with that. No one for Order has really died except Noz after finding all the kills as well. Everyone's on 0s. Sign a Dragon yet to find a kill themselves, actually. But this is the big thing, right? This is making sure for Order, when they've got their weapons in the round, making sure they're able to at least start things off here good. And seeing that pit over towards A, sorry, probably makes Order feel like they should be going towards B.
Yeah, absolutely. And with that hit down, of course, as you mentioned, the Neon is there. Sorry, not the Neon, the Fade, rather, to counter that play as time will go on. But it's Ronsky to counter Scroll. Does find the pick on the top of the tube. Big thing about, you know, still being able to play similar lines as he does on the Jet, on this chamber, utilizing that rendezvous to effect. But I like this position from NiceX. And Dragon, man, you've got to stop, bro. Too sharp, too good. But Texter is actually ready to catch that rendezvous. So that's a great response here. Now walking into the kitchen. Noz gets the catch. RDW still not far behind. So they've got to be ready for it. There's that trade. 2-on-3, Komodo. How are they going to respond here on this bonus?
Oh, well, NiceX has been seen, and RDW is actually going to get out of there as well, just to make sure that they've got the 3 versus 2 player advantage on toward the side. Now, Sign does have the blade and the fragment. He's actually going to choose the latter to go towards the yellow line, but it misses it, unfortunately, as the NiceX is good for 1 in the trade. So if you're looking for damage for Bobo in this bonus round, you found the damage. 3 kills is pretty good. You lose the round in the end, though, and you did use the Viper's Pit. So you kind of weigh up your options there. And you kind of figure out, was it worth it? Was it not? Putting in the pit, disregard it now. Doesn't matter. It's done and dusted. You lost the round. You got guns coming into this new one. And for Order, they did get that first round on the board as well, Mitch.
Yeah, 3 Alive was big. The Haunt was great as well to kind of at least keep the focus away. You know, we were able to see that 3K come in for Texter. So round secured for Order. And they move in nice and strong, only having the Bulldog for Maple. So they're going to be nice and comfy. Dragons made the investment to pick up the Operator, so this is going to be a big one as NiceX is already all the way down. Maybe he's punished. No, the Haunt does catch, but at least he can get away. They're going to have the trail for now, at least. But it's a quick move up towards A as it does get started. NiceX is watching the line towards the top of Tube, but they will fall away. They're going to settle, and it's just Dragon's position.
Yeah, this is what I want to make mention to. The fact that 2 players got marked over at the A side, and there's a bit of a quick lean for Bobo towards the A side, means that Dragon can kind of take it on his own devices to be able to push down mid and hold off any rotation for Order back towards B. It's unfortunate, I guess, is the word to use here for Signed, as he's rotated towards B with Dragon watching mid, so it means it is only 2 players now on this A side for Bobo. But the creep, the silence from Order, they've realized they can be sneaky beaky. Now they've been spotted. How do they contend with 2 players here?
Here's the info. Haunt is going to be destroyed, but it's not going to matter because Maple will get that trade. Now Scroll gets some info. Recon Bolt is good. Wall goes up, however. It's going to be a really, really nasty looking retake here now. Komodo, as that spike does get planted. I suppose still good positioning from Dragon, but the Boombot's available to the turret, rather, to have a little bit of a look-see.
Teleport's ready.
You got to remember as well that the Order members like to have a flank coming out sometimes, so it's got to be in Bobo's mind to potentially watch behind. It's a great frag to come through from Ronsky, just making sure they've got I's crossing T's in this round. Texas does exactly that on towards Scroll, and this 5 versus 2 may just shift into a save now for Bobo. They have no way to get back in towards this round. Prowler has actually just bit on towards old mate Dragon as well, so his wings get clipped here in this round. Maple to get the opener and the closer means it's a flawless victory for Order.
Maple's utility has been fantastic so far. The C's to come out in that position, a couple of Haunts as well to keep them interested. Now the Nightfall's available. Hasn't really used much of the Prowler outside of that round just yet, but you know, with Fade coming in now and being such, I think I called it Neon again. It's probably just my brain switching around. But as time goes on, we are seeing more of the Fade become to be adopted. You know, that's kind of the method of what we were expecting over time as Valorant does continue forward, right? Like seeing
teams making new comps
that counter pre-existing utility. Exactly right. Creating the new comps, being able to counter out, and not just seeing the same 5 agents picked depending on the map.
Oh, I like this. You got the Poison Cloud and a flash to go through. Oh, ill timing though for NiceX. It would have been really cool if he peeked on the back of that flash drive properly and maybe able to find the frag, but it's information at least surrounding this A side at the moment. Dragon's pushing mid. He's going to be hit by the trademark in a second. He's actually going to be destroying the util that is down mid, so maybe that shifts Order to do something different around this A side now, but they are really holding true. You know, they're making sure what they can do. Ronsky actually finding Dragon, so that's the opening pick over towards Order. They've got 3 ults if they need to use them in this round, Conky, and again, you know, it's not like Bobo have guns, so I'd like to see Order hold these ultimate abilities.
Yep, just find the fight, use the weapons, get the job done. Disco in, Texter for the trade, at least. The positioning, they keep the focus accordingly. Noz up close with that Bucky. Does some damage. Scroll's actually managed to get one in the process. RDW does take him down, and now the position is known. I like this from Ronsky, pushing nice and deep. And now it's all on an Oz, unfortunately, who has been sent out. Nothing he can really do here. Hoping for maybe an exit with that Bucky. And just dropping down the Classic as well for good measure. So all he can hope for is someone walking in nice and close, which might happen. There it is. Does he want to try and save the Vandal that's close by? There's always the option. Yeah, damage is definitely the way to go, I do think.
Well, in a world for Noz, if he finds 2 picks and then he's got his ultimate in the next round, that would be absolutely wonderful. But maybe you do just shift to the Vandal saving. You look for a bit of damage. If he has any idea that this flank is possible, it'd be kind of cool. But maybe you just go up with the spike explosion as well. You know, we know there's guns in the next round for Noz, and the hunt is on for Order. They may eventually jump up into the kitchen, and RDW or Texter will find it. There's the info. Alrighty, cool. So the round is done and dusted. RDW maybe wanted the frag more for his ult, but doesn't really matter. Or to take the lead here, Mitch. And it does mean we finally get into another round where we've got guns for everybody. And I mean everybody.
Bronski. There. The old attacking side at Operator on Icebox. Sometimes a blessing, sometimes a curse, but so far his chamber results have been looking good. Texter atop of the scoreboard right now next to Noz. Of course, Order have taken the lead here on Icebox. Very important for them to continue their charge, their dominance here on this attacking side to make it as awkward as possible. But here's Dragon. Haunt destroyed. They're not going to know that he's up here just yet. Does have his rendezvous available. Prowler will go out, it will be destroyed, but I think the big factor here is, again, going to be Dragon, but Bronski, he gets the spot, and that is what you want to see. Now that Nightfall comes out, Komodo is not going to be ready for this defense.
Oh, well, he's been spotted out on the back of this wall as well. The Seize is just going to miss him, but the Slow Orb is going to keep him entertained at the moment on the site, and he's actually able to find one, make it a second one before going down to Disco. You got to remember this Resurrection is available, and they're going to send in the lockdown. There's a minute to play with. Order don't need to stay here. I am seeing a problem, though. Signed has been where they buy guns.
Yeah. All the way in there, mate. RDW's not going to be ready for it at all. There's the res, there's the damage. He finds it. No detainees, however. Not being able to do it. Dropping down onto the side. Looking to get that spike planted. Where does NiceX go? The wrong side. It's up high, but it's not going to matter because he gets a shot. He will connect. Now moving around. Texter gets the damage. It's shaky. One bullet, get the reload in, my son. Look for the duel back once more. 2-on-2, and the fragment over the top as well. There's been a couple of attempts to get this spike planted. It's awkward. It's shaky. Sign will find it. Great fragment to keep them off the narrative. Signed, my God, you have activated, my friend. The robot gets the job done. 3-3.
You'd almost think he was a robot in that round. He had the plays to do exactly what was required in towards the opponent's spawn to get the flank, to get the frag on towards RDW, who was probably trying to get a flank of his own, to be honest, down through towards mid with the lockdown there that Disco was able to throw down to the floor. But the fact that then he throws the fragment to the default plant spot to, you know, kind of keep them off being able to do that, make them a little bit more awkward. It was also the showstopper that was from NiceX Sport Time. Don't know how he found the frag after the rocket miss, but I mean, it is what it is.
You want to play? Let's play.
Probably that flank kept Order thinking there might be a flank. They didn't know exactly where he was, so the molly gives away his position, but flash drive in as well, gets the closer. You love to see those plays come through from the men on KO. And now, Conky, the new round, it's a bit of a slower start, which you do like to see, a bit of a change of pace. Signed is going to entertain them all down mid in the tube. 1-to-1 trade. Of course, no res on the side of Bobo. And with that pit down to the A side again from Noz, I feel like we're going to be going over toward the B side. Ronski is now down as well.
You hear the shot ring out as well from the old Tour de Force. Scroll. Doing a little, making Texter do the do-si-do. Hunter's Fury goes out. It was strong, it connected, but unfortunately can't quite connect. Is he going to be ready for Texter? Oh, it's a battle of timing. He is. That's a good shout there, but now inside, or over the pit, actually, rather. Disco just waiting. Dun, 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 basically.
Nah, Benny Hill theme instead. That would be even funnier at this point in time. Oh, he's heard the drop, I think. Yep, he heard the drop on toward the middle.
There it is. Straight out.
Oh, I'm more worried. Yeah, that's exactly right. I'm more worried about the splitness right now and the fact that Maple loses that duel. It's spiked down in toward the kitchen at the moment. So we're making 2-minute noodles if you're Bobo. Maybe 20-second noodles if something can cook that fast, because this round is probably just done and dusted.
Has to just hope for a frag, hope to go down. Obviously doesn't want to lose the cash into the next. They do have another reinvestment. I mean, Maple doesn't have a whole lot to offer. I mean, the Utah we've seen come out on the Fade so far has been great, but I guess his position, you know, on that attacking side makes it really, really challenging in how he wants to position himself for setting up for the frags. Really, really just sort of focus on getting those haunts out, but It's the lead taken back by Bobo, which is certainly a statement to be made because it is looking like a rough situation. Like, that's the call. You can see them shaking it around right now. They do say no eco now. We're just going to go for that buy-in. Because there's no tour de force, as we know, right? So it's just going to be Ronski having to pick up the Vandal and Maple, whatever he gets together. It's going to be rough. It looks like RDW's actually decided to pick up the Judge, famous weapon of his. Also, miss you, Lakers. That's where we did get to see the inspiration, Ronski, RDW from Lakers.
This is the time in the map where the pendulum swinging can really define the remainder of this half, right? Because if you're contemplating having a purchase or eco, you're looking at giving it away to your opponents another round and they get just that much more forward. But you're also then considering if you force and you win, you can get forward. So the fact that Order going with the purchase without any, really helpful abilities to get any space makes it really, really interesting to see how they do find those positionings of their own. And then right now, it's just following the leader in toward the side of A really silently. We've already seen it work for them once in this map right now. They're going to try and do it again. Get this plant, get RDW's kit out as well for protection. And this is going to be a 5 versus 5 retake you'd expect.
Yeah, this is a round I'll take off you because all of the color schemes going across the site of A. Ronski does get the opener in. Also with that position around the wall, he moves in quick. Rendezvousing straight out, however. Spike only just going in now. Disco's also taking numbers too. So it's going to be a really awkward 3v5 here. Getting straight into the green now. Texter dropping down Scroll. This is a really scrappy looking round from Bobo. The previous round looks so clean, looks so concise. And then all of a sudden they've been slapped around in this one here by Order. 4 alive, 1 left in the form of Nice Hacks. And the money's good enough. That's the main thing. He can drop over towards Dragon. Dragon obviously had the tour de force in this round. So they are going to have a buy, more so if Nice Hacks does save it through. Yeah. Look, it's going to happen regardless. But look, solid response from Order is what I was trying to get to.
Yep. And the dink, actually, I just realized that it was through metal from Ronski and then rendezvoused away. That's why he was kind of jibbed of that frag. But a really well-placed round from Order. It's the second time they've been able to creep in towards the A site silently. And I think the 2 instances that Order have been able to do that should be enough conditioning now towards Bobo that Bobo are going to have to sacrifice some utility early to get information, right? Whether it be Scroll sending in that recon dart, whether it be Sign throwing in the blade as well. Just to make sure, they've got an idea of anybody circulating around the A site, because for 2 times for that to happen without really any shifts to come through from Bobo is real interesting. And now that I'm just remembering as well, Conky, they've also added 2 Vipers pits on the A site. So that's 4, kind of rounds to pull apart, where 2 was the pit that Order didn't want to contend with, and the 2 that Order just snuck in, there was no utility there at all.
Yeah, minimal pressure kind of applied by Bobo on that A site there, which is what I think, allowed Order that space, I suppose. Like thinking back to the last couple of rounds where we do have Nice Hacks getting aggressive. So maybe that's the information that Tex has pulled in, sort of determining exactly the response that Nice Hacks or just Bobo in general give towards the A site. Because B has been taken, once so far. It's been all that focus of these 8 rounds that have passed around A. And, some mid-round fights around the middle of the map too. So we'll have to see with what Bobo actually do choose to do on their defenses here. Noz has been doing a fantastic job on this Viper. But plenty more game to have so far, Komodo.
Yeah.
We're again a 1-1 scoreline. 13-10 going the way of Bobo and Haven. 13-10 going the way of Order on Fracture with that new agent lineup. And again, the winner not only wins 11,000 big ones, they go to APAC LCQ.
Well, just remember, Noz went big on Haven and they won the map. So maybe going big on Icebox means they win the map as well. We'll have to wait and see. 4-4. You do have Signed available with the Null Command, Dragon with the Tour de Force as well. Already popped them. There's that info I was talking about, right? Order have gone sneaky beaky into the A site too many times for Bobo not to be throwing any utility down. Our drone in, Null Command pops. If Ronski finds this frag, it would be huge. But Noz is able to do that, and now trying to escape is going to be denied.
That's the destruction of the rendezvous there. The second that Ronski tried to move his way in, and obviously, as you mentioned, the Null Command coming out sort of forces them all back. It is now going to settle its way out. But it's basically just big boy Sign kind of stepping up and being like, I'm here. You don't want to walk into this site. But they are still slowly keeping an eye on it. Scroll, in point, RDW looking over the top. Viper Operator, that's a new one, but we know the man is very, very well equipped, obviously, with his history on the chamber. Good opening from Maple. Haunt goes up as well, but no spot, no info. It's going to be a 4-on-4 on this retake. If Sign can't walk through, the wall does deny for now.
Yep, and the plan's going to be going down for Texter in pretty open position. Maybe realizing that they can't plant under the rope because we've seen defusers from on top of that rope dodging the Viper mollies. So, you know, that's something that you got to quickly contend with in the map as well. 5 versus 3. What Order are looking to hold down, seeing Signed fall away. RDW is taken out. Dragon, Signed falls, and this is looking pretty easy in Camp Order right now. Just onto Nice Hacks, who's been pushed by Maple. And with 5 alive at the closure of that round for Order, they are really starting to, you know, they were looking to build up a lot of their economy, and that round they've just done so.
That's a much more textbook Order round, I would say. You know, they just sort of did not allow any space back in at all for Bobo. And exactly what we kind of need to see from Order overall. You know, big statement, like, again, knowing how much closer Bobo is getting in contesting this team, in applying the pressure and making Order play their best Valorant. Because that's what we need to see, right? Whichever team goes over, we cannot have mediocrity. We need the best of the best representing our stage. And, you know, Order certainly could have put in a bit more last time. I think Bonkers, you know, got close to the previous time. But all we can hope for is just time and time again, we see that improvement. And that's exactly what we're going to get. So that's happening in this series right now. Hopefully all 5. Up close scroll does not quite connect that shot towards the top. I think Dragon's also going to get spotted by Ronsky. So Nightfall goes out. Nice Hacks has to get away from there too. And that's basically the round done already.
Yeah, you got to remember as well, this was kind of just a little bit of a half buy to make sure that Bobo have guns in the next round. So the fact that they bait out the Nightfall from Maple, I think you'll be like kind of okay with, but you still want to get some damage out to make sure that you're getting fragging action, right? To still be able to contend against Order in this map. We're starting to look quite strong to be considered. And if they're able to survive with 5 again, it would be pretty unfortunate, but there is the shotty to come out from Noz. He's going to entertain the idea of some damage at the end with the Vandal. Going to be denied. Now it is just down to Signed, who may have been heard making noise in the kitchen. He would have just been seen as well. And he's not going to be able to find the frag. So there's the 6th round gathered out by Order, Conky. And we're going to have another gun round coming to the next one here for Bobo. No supporting ultimates at the moment. The closest 2 away for Noz and Nice Hacks there. But the important thing, you know, for the folks out there, Order are looking pretty good right now in this map.
Yeah, all I'm going to say is this is a feeling that I have had a number of times casting Oceanic Valorant. The game has gone flat, which is not what I want in any way, shape, or form. And sort of what I'm hoping for is actually potentially a pause. I think that'll be a perfect opportunity for Senpai to do exactly that and have a chat to the boys. You know, you've got Dragon really unable to do anything so far, and Nice Hacks hasn't sort of found the control that he wants. You've got your IGL on Viper 13-9 up the tippy top. So I definitely think there is a good time now for a slowdown, a reset, a thought process, because moving into that attacker's side is going to be quite daunting for Bobo if we do see Order manage to activate with 8 in the half. And it's looking like it's certainly going to be that, because we continue to see Maple continue to do damage. And now another shot, maybe an opportunity for Dragon, but the shot just then didn't connect. Okay, down close. Gets a second quick scope. That's okay. Dragon back on the board. And it's Bobo with an advantage that's well needed here in the 4-on-3.
Yeah, maybe that shot, you know, it's just Valoranted. Maybe he moved at the end. You never know. A bit of an off angle from Signed under the boiler at the moment, and he's going to make sure the heat is turned up here. Turning in at the 0.2, just get the info. Getting both of them is now making things a bit more difficult for Order. They've also been trademarked in the kitchen, so we're literally throwing the kitchen sink at Order at the moment in terms of utility. To just see Noz as well down in through towards B main. So as far as where Order can kind of maneuver back into what this round, it's only a finite amount of positions through the kitchen to the site or back towards the bottom of the
30
tube.
seconds left.
This wall is eventually going to be broken. And then they're going to have to try and contend with back towards the B side. The dart goes deep and they've overlooked Sign.
Love
with
it.
Scroll. Love to see it. It's a round back for Bobo.
That was much, much better. The bait out from the recon bolt, Sign hiding, and you know, we're sort of talking about how Maple has started to look really good in this map so far.
For sure.
Signed has not been quiet at all, but there's been a couple of rounds in this map that it's been all him, and I think that's another one right there. So Dragon getting a couple of shots, maybe getting his confidence back here, because I got to admit, a attacking side chamber can be a hard prospect to kind of, you know, swallow down. So both have operators here in Ronsky and Dragon. Definitely need to be seeing more from Dragon. 6-6 half, doable for both sides. And yeah, third map, you know, with Breeze around the corner, we know how good Order are on Breeze. What's going to happen?
Oh, I like the challenge that Dragon is permitting us to see right now, but waiting for the turret will be destroyed. It's going to be a shift for Order towards the B site. Remember, they haven't really contested around B to see what's been happening time and time again. Noz sees that wall, and it's probably, hey, they're doing something different. Come assist me right now. And I do wonder what sort of utility setup Noz is going to be able to do. So they've seen him on the top of the side. A lockdown as well from Disco makes things really interesting to see if Order are going to be able to hold down the fort of B.
I was going to say, what's the utility looking like here for Stein? The fragment goes down, and that forces Texter forward. Spike in the hands of Ronski. They're actually going to be able to get away. So they're out and about. It's a full rotate, though, so that's a big one. Like, I think one criticism that I can make is, like, when we have seen Bobo give space to Order on A side, they just take it. They take it time and time again. So Nice Hack's rotating in now. The Haunt's going up. You've got to be ready for this one.
Nice Hack can use the showstopper to buy time and be a scare tactic, not necessarily need to go in with a frag. He's heard all the information. I'm going to see if he's going to use the rocket.
Yeah, here it is. It'll happen. 3, 2, 1. There it is. Shebang.
He's rendezvoused out.
Yep, he did. Straight on in. It's caused awkwardness. And that's actually an opportunity back. Maple's done 2. Dragon gets 1. Certainly not the round that you want to be seeing here from Bobo. You know, getting that advantage, forcing them away, and all of a sudden getting onto the back foot. Scroll now has to go forward. Dragon flicks up. No, not quite. Ronski takes him. And it's all on to Scroll. 1v3 up close. They know Ronski's got the line. He gets the damage dealt, but Scroll's still got to overwhelm 2 members here in RDW. I think he spotted him. He's had a look, and he will shake the hand, and unfortunately, it won't be the deal that he was looking for. 7-5 goes the way of Order, and yeah, all I can say is, like, that was basically 6 clean rounds from Order with no contest from Bobo.
Yeah, a bit of a peek over toward the B site in the end there as well with that wall. Just a hi, how you doing? But then straight over towards A to get the plant. I love the fact that Ronski, you know, had that rendezvous position just before the plant to be getting out of that situation, right? Because you see the Nice Hacks as a showstopper. Generally, the Raze player would be throwing that in to deny the plant, right? It would be a very common thing. And he's able to get the plant, rendezvous out, and then finish the round like that in style. Operator picks, 2 to force picks, really looking to close it down. 7-5 is not the 6-6 that the script has been written out toward today, but this is the pistol round, Conky. And we know how the pistol rounds have predominantly been so far in this series. It's been 5 from 5 for Bobo. So is it going to change here?
Do we have 6? Yeah. Is 6 coming? We'll have to see.
6 going on, going twice.
6 for a 6th round as well. Yeah, the auction's certainly a good moment. And I think Bobo's been investing big, but lined up, Disco poised, Texter also not too far away. Maple playing around mid. That Prowler's going to go out, but at least they've afforded themselves with a very, very nice and early plan. Noz is in position again.
Oh, but the problem is
they're not going to clear this.
RDW is being a lot of footsteps in a right click at the free gun. Ronski's looking the wrong way. Noz's lurk is absolutely gorgeous. Dragon finds a pick as well. And I was wondering, you know, there was no Sage on the side of Bobo. Stein's fragment lands to get Texter. It was a half defuse, but it doesn't come out. That's the thing that I want to make mention, right? The Sage kit on a map like this, if you can't wall off the default B line, it means you're quite vulnerable to utility. Specifically in this one, Disco's util, and maybe even RDW's Snake Bites, if that's going to be a thing. But the fact that there's no wall on the side of Bobo, they know that. They protect the plant, and then they play a little bit closer because they know the wall is there for Texter. I like that from Bobo. Real nice.
Well, and again, it's another time, right? Like, I was looking at that line of the way that the wall was obviously, you know, nice and long, and they had some control from heaven, but it was signed again to take them off with the fragment, you know? Like, his utility has just been fantastic. So I think, you know, touching on that utility item is super important. Like, will Order have basically the same caliber of that utility, or will they just continue to rely on their, you know, strength in aim and fundamentals? Take flight.
Yeah, well, early drone from Scroll in toward the A side as well, and a very big predominant push in through mid from Order. 3 members, I dare say Bobo are not going to be completely expecting this one right now, who are all in amongst the side.
Ronski on this flank. Texter not too far behind as well. They're ready for it this time, though, but Texter can tap away. Free gun, by the way. Free weapon, by the way. I remind you all, ladies and gentlemen watching along at home, it's free real estate. But site taken.
Oh, no.
Okay, no, it's fine. No, the classic's better, remember, but Disco's here. Another free weapon. There we go. Spectre picked up. Nice Hack's dink. That's important. Low HP. He just has to find the jewel, and... Holy. The El Clasico Valorant second round has been among us right now, and... I just want
to give a shout out to Crash. Sorry you had to contend with the chaos of the classics in that round,
all
but
of that.
Good job. Great job.
Fight's there.
Big shout out to both of our observers, obviously in Temporal as well, doing the scenic routes. Crashman always on the sticks for us here for the Valorant Oceanic Tour. But yeah, look, as much as I criticize it, it does certainly make for entertaining Valorant, I will say. Because Order have done so much damage. Look at this bonus, it's trash.
I'm wondering, is this shock dart to break any utility at the end of B main, or is it specifically to try and, you know, deny the orb? I think that's end of B main util? Maybe it's even default plant util for any killjoy setups. Oh, doesn't matter. Does not matter whatsoever. As it is Bobo now, getting a little bit of creepy action around the maze of the side of A. That turret is ever so just looking over the site, though, making sure that it'll be the first point of info. Act as the sixth man, so to speak.
Calm before the storm, it feels like. Prowler goes out. That should actually catch some info. Spotted Noz, and I mean, look, they're already going to know from the amount of damage that they've done, but hearing all these sheriff shots go off kind of, you know, puts them in a position where they understand what they're dealing with. They have managed to send everyone packing off the site. RDW pulling away from Heaven's pretty big. Now Dragon getting that rendezvous down. Alarm bot spotted, but it's okay. They're going to be able to lock down this plant, which is pretty big result on the bonus. So now they've just got to fight the good fight and see if they can hold on.
Yeah, the alarm bot doesn't really mean anything in the end because they were already forced out of the site and there was no nano swarms as well. But it is a good start for Order to get back in towards this round of this retake with all of their guns. Starting to get some damage towards Nicehax. He's got these satchels if he needs to pop somebody off the defuse. But there's that wall. I mentioned the Sage Kit again here, Conky. There's the protector for Texter. And it does look like he's just going to stick the defuse. There's no reason not to when you've got 4 teammates around to just protect you as well. And for Noz, no extra change at the end of the round.
Yeah, Techstart looking awesome again, leading the charge from this Sage. You know, many people comment on this guy's gameplay, how he's able to play so well from the supportive agents and lead his team. And that's the crazy thing right now with what we're witnessing, right? 15 and 8 for Techstart, only just behind Noz, who's also doing the exact same thing, the big brain man himself. And unfortunately, just for Bobo, it's been sort of lacking firepower in a couple of the other areas where Maple has really stepped up to the play so far for the side of Order. You know, just being able to get those impact multi-frags. Ronsky punished, though, this time, which, you know, is something we see on the odd occasion. Happened a lot on Haven, but Dragon still ready. Maple walking in. Our drone, perfect commentary there, Komodo. As now, it's only on the Texter, who can get the orb, can get the res, but how's it going to look? Scroll's trying to keep him off it.
Can he get the res? Because he's walled off his teammates' bodies.
I just noticed that, yeah.
So, Sage Tech, while I praise it sometimes,
as well.
it's text to tech. I mean, look, he's got the resurrection. If things go towards the A site and the plant does happen, it does mean he can get the res later. But I also really do like the fact that Scroll is waiting for this too. But how long does he sacrifice time for? Because the spike in Noz's hands is not on the side of A just yet. Disco is going to get contained, so there's no utility. Scroll's been taken out from RDW on the mid flank. So now that res actually becomes so much more powerful, but maybe not even used now. It is, in the end, 4 versus 2. And it's going to be on to Signed. And old mate in Noz leading the charge to see if they can get this 8th and tied up.
He does have the null command available, but whether or not it's worth popping it, it's going to be a big ask for him here. He's up very close, and there is only Disco, who is just around that corner. So Sign in a fantastic position, but he's got to have to try and invest some sort of positional push, because the second that wall goes down, it's going to be really awkward onto his angle, and Disco is just buying the ultimate time here. But there you go. There's that overlook. There's that fight now. He's moving for it, Sign. Has to reload, though. Has to find more, but he's done more than that. The fragment over the top, but it's the wrong spot. It's the wrong place, and Texter does it again. Oh man, maybe that was a miscommunication there, because if he did that, then that was the perfect round from Signed. Surely they knew where the spike was planted, but oh look, in a valiant effort there from Signed,
you want to know something too?
To close out the round.
If people are very keen-eyed, the spike's already half defused and the fragment comes out, Texas HP still allows him to defuse, sticking it through that fragment. So it's one of those little things that maybe Texas knows and sticks it. Regardless, a valiant attempt to be able to hold it through from Noz and Signed in the end. But you got to remember, a 2 versus 4, right? They probably have to cut a couple of corners, and maybe they waited a little bit too long for the force that was ordered to get there. But for only one player to be surviving on Order there and using that resurrection, it means it was a very close victory for Order in that round. They maintain this lead, and there's a challenge from Ronsky that goes by the wayside.
Jeez, it was tight. But now they, you know, go for that exactly as you spoke about, and that haunt over the top just completely throws off Scroll. Little rough there. Obviously, you know, no Sage in activation here for Bobo means that no res will come out. Maple's utility has just been mint to witness.
Oh,
and Texter ripping off the head of Noz. IGL supremacy here. Maple over the top.
Yep.
Chef's delight that we are witnessing right now. Yeah, exactly right. Barbershop quartet.
There we go. Flawless round in the end to come on through. Disco's going to be picking up the lockdown at the closure of that. You can definitely see the Viper's Pit used RDW just to secure an 11th here, one step closer to that map point. And then they're one map away from closing out this grand final. They'd take that 3-1 if they get the next map, which for those maybe wondering, it will be Breeze as the next map as well. But on the flip side, right? Senpai is going to be calling in the timeout here for Bobo. They've got 4 ultimates accessible. And you want to know the big old problem when you've got those ults available as well? Do you have the weaponry to at least back it up to be able to shoot around it? And I'm looking at it. Dragon doesn't, but he's got tour de force.
It's going to be okay.
So it's fine.
I think that's why they had that conversation here. You know, it's a good time to take that pause. Like, my criticism only is maybe, you know, Senpai could have called that a little bit earlier. Bobo fell off the map about 7 rounds ago, and they've had a couple of moments where they've been around, but, you know, 6 pistols, Komodo, and they've got 7 rounds in this map, right? You know, to have 4 secured off that means they've only won 3 gun rounds, which is just straight up unacceptable, right? For a team of this caliber, a team of this strength. And I think off the back of that, it is really just the fact that NiceHax and Dragon have been quiet. NiceHax hasn't been looking confident in this map as he was obviously back on Haven. And even Fracture to a degree. He was looking really, really forward. Dragon was great, but those 2 Impact members haven't been doing much, and it's been Noz and Sign. We spoke about how this team, at the very, very start of the broadcast, we needed to see them look good as a unit, as a 5. Otherwise, Order are going to walk all over them, because the individual prowess on Order's side is what can carry them through these issues, right? Map number 1, even though Ronsky was playing pretty average, they still managed to take it to them and end up 13-10. So we need to see more from Bobo, and it has to happen off the back of this pause.
It's going to be the B-side early engagement spot out from NiceHax. Don't know if he used the blast pack there, but he's -1. So maybe he didn't buy it. Maybe he did. He's got 500 spare, so he probably did. Ronsky has pushed up very, very far. And the destruction of the trademark is going to throw a little bit of interest to Dragon to have a peek. And Conky, I'm liking what I'm seeing from Order in this round. A bit of a spot here and there, a peek from Ronsky that is absolutely wonderful to be able to find the opening pick. And now what do we see as a shift from Bobo? Down the guts of the map, where you got to contend with Texter. You got Maple ready, who can use the Nightfall if they start to see them. There's a lot that Order can throw at this one, and it's just going to be bullets, it would seem.
Yeah, absolutely. Nightfall goes out, and this map's done, and I think almost the series is done off the back of this. I'm not confident anymore. That was like... This was such an exciting series that we had straight off the back, explosive. Fracture especially, right? You know, whilst obviously Haven was really explosive and there were some really highlight moments, I felt like it was, you know, Order getting punished and Bobo playing great Valorant. And then into Fracture, Order sort of picked up a little bit, a few slips from Bobo. Now on this map, I'm not seeing a Bobo that is going to be able to compete into the next map, right? As much as I want it, Breeze is disgustingly strong. And it's an opportunity, I guess, where Bobo can fight back and drop Order and be like, look, guys, we're here to boogie. We want to take it to Ascent. But, you know, unless I see something, unless I see some momentum pick up, I'm not confident.
Oh. I thought the horn was actually missing, but it's going to get the pings out, and Ronsky's going to be capitalizing upon that. Maple taking him down, Texter as well. Everything is just coming up hunky-dory for Order, and even more aggression. The Seas, they'll see the little jellyfishes come out from that. They know exactly where he is. It's side with the Bucky. Well, at least trying to make it a bit entertaining to close out this round. If he's able to win this 1 versus 3, it would be absolutely immaculate, but Disco already ready. We'll be finding that, and it is the 12th round on the board now for Order. 5 rounds of safety as well, just in case Bobo do start to come back. But you know, as you mentioned, I'm not going to go as far forward to say I'm not a believer of Bobo, because I mean, I like Smash Mouth, I'm a believer. But yeah, like this map, this defensive side right now for Order, I do feel like that's a bit too strong for Bobo to come back with. And Breeze, we have to see something better.
Yeah, Breeze is the one we saw, what, 13-4 over Oasis. Wasn't ready for the Ronsky effect. Straight on into that B site time and time again.
That map, that game was like Ronsky, he unleashed a demon, I gotta say.
Yeah, correct. Now, do or die. Last moment. Will it happen? Will it blend? That is the question. NiceHax We're sitting back, Noz getting that Viper's pit down. The turret's still down for now, as that rotation will start to come in and connect it. Here we go, Prowler up top, gets the info. This continues to be Maple, just keeping the catch, keeping the flank locked down, and he does it. Maple 1, Ronski a second. Dragon will get the trade out, but he needs more on the top of the rope, though. However, getting it done, will text to punish. There we go, Dragon is here, and he is dragging his team forward into the round. Now we see the post plant set up, the snakebite is there, and surely this is going to be a round going the way of Bobo, unless no, the stick. Surely not like this. Okay, series done, game's closed, book is over. I've already read the script apparently. But no, it's okay. Got to give that one to RDW. There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, we see a victory on Icebox come out from your boys in Order. Much more dominant than we did see in the opening couple of maps. Maybe they just needed a little bit of time to warm up, because that change in pace was disgustingly different, and why it is so important to all you duelist mains locking Reyna in your matchmaking games out there, why Texter and Maple are showing that the supportive agents are what are needed to get the job done. What a round. What a way to win here, Komodo.
Does somebody hit a nerve in your ranked matches, Conky, with the duelists?
They all yell at you. That's the problem, all right?
Yeah, well, the boys in this server, they're in the yelling victory right now for Order, because they've taken away this map. And just that last round, I mean, you look at all the frags that Bobo were even finding, right? The resurrection comes through, it gets completely denied, but missed snakebites is, you know, kind of what it comes down to a little bit. Just at that last ditch bit, they miss out from Noz on towards RDW, who put his poison cloud down first for a layer of extra protection in case, you know, the members of Bobo do start to spray on the line of the defuse. You know, they don't know exactly where they're spraying, but I mean, regardless, he's able to stick it, get the victory 13-7, which means Breeze around the corner on, you know, a map that Order... I feel like Breeze, if there's any map of Order's hunting ground, that's the map. So now we're going into their territory.
This is a thing where I'm very much a realist, but at the same time, I'm an optimist, right? Like, I love seeing the underdog stories. I love seeing all these really sort of close maps, but at the exact same time, you're huffing copium at this point if you don't think that Order's going to come strong on Breeze. Do I want Bobo to win? Absolutely. Let's take this to 5, but they need to do something more than what we just have seen on Icebox. So they're going to have a discussion in the break and work it all out, just like we are going to do the same. Make sure to stay hydrated. We'll see you back very, very soon for the 4th map in Breeze. And the masterminds of Order on your screens right now, only one map from taking it through again, running it back to the international stage. Are they going to succeed here and do the exact same thing, making our region proud? We'll have to find out. However, there is still a chance for Bobo to make it happen. We need to see them pick up from what they were delivering and go back to some of that Haven goodness that we did get to witness. Breeze again is Order's kind of dance floor, and we're going to have to see Bobo boogie down hard, Komodo, if they are going to drag it to Ascent.
And maybe even 2 left feet on the side of Order. I got to be real with you, from what we've seen from them so far, they are step one after another, and they are making it look good. So coming in towards Breeze right now, again, it is my kind of question. Are we going to see any agent role swaps? Look, probably not. It's a bit more of a stake right now for Order, just to make sure they're able to secure this map in. And if you can do it comfortably on something, that would be really good. But for Bobo, maybe they need to be reaching a little bit deeper into their pockets, a couple more pages into their strat book of Noz to figure out how to get back into this one. Because I kind of feel like in that map just then of Icebox, there was a lot of hesitancy to come through from Bobo, a lot more so than Order.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to touch on, right? And like why I think that there is still a chance in that Bobo actually win out this map, right? If they play to their tune, to the song that we know that they can sing, they will be able to step up to the plate here. The only reason you can sort of criticize and go heavy down on it is Order in Oceania, right? And now obviously proven overseas, are almost unstoppable on Breeze. Like to think back how many times they've even been pushed close. I think we saw like Peace take them to overtime a little while back, like last year or something like that. But aside from that, we've seen them 13-1, we've seen them 13-0. We've just seen them look super strong. So to Bobo, I hope you guys have had some time to sort of think about this and what's going to come forward right now, because again, like how good would it be to see some different players running back overseas and doing it again, especially in a competition with so many stakes in the LCQ.
Okay, here you go. I got the juice. I got the stats.
Give it to me.
Breeze was lost by Order against Bonkers, which is Bobo's core, in the first stage grand final, 13-8. There you go.
Yep. Okay, that's right. Exactly. And that was it was what Fracture straight away, and Order
Fracture
won
first,
that one. We've never seen them play Fracture, and then they lost out everything else that we saw them to be confident on. So that's where it all sort of runs this narrative. And now moving into this agent selection, listen, Komodo, walk me through. We are seeing what appears to be stock standard for both of these teams.
Well, there's only 2 reps for Bobo, technically, with this current rendition of this lineup. KO, Sova, Viper, Jet, Chamber is what Bobo have run in with that one. So if they do, change it up and the Sky is picked in from Signed, it's going to be new. But for the side of Order, running it in, you got Disco on the KO, we got Sova, we got Jet, we got Viper, we got Chamber. It's stock standard for Order, but it is different for Bobo, actually. That's one thing. So Signed is going to be bringing out the Sky. Last time they played the Honey Badgers, which was 2 days ago. No, hang on. No, it's a lot longer than that. Wrong month. A lot longer. But who was it? It's Noz was on the KO. Scroll Sova makes sense. Signed was on the Chamber. So bit of a change.
Yeah, absolutely. Samsung Odyssey Neo G9 offers world-class performance with a 240 Hz refresh rate, 1 millisecond response time, G-Sync compatible, and AMD FreeSync Premium Pro. Unleash your inner champion with Samsung Odyssey gaming monitors. Hoping we will see some inner champion unleashed right now. Whoever walks away with this map is going to be making some level of a statement once more. It has already been an awesome series, an awesome grand final, but I want everyone, if we were in a stadium right now, we would be calling for your cheers and excitement, as this map could potentially determine who will be the undisputed titan of Oceanic Valorant.
Absolutely looking to see who's going to be able to take this one away. Breeze. And then if we do need it, if Bobo do find this one here, Conky, it means we will be getting the decider in Ascent, which will be really, really cool as well. But we need to see something more from the guys over at Bobo in this map. And specifically, they're 6 from 6 pistols right now.
Yes, will they continue?
I mentioned to you, I wanted somebody to go back and count how many frags Noz has. Someone's done it for me. Shout out to HSP Ali. I appreciate you. 18 pistol round kills Noz has gotten in the 6 that they found.
No way.
18
that is
pistol
insane.
kills.
How many? That's surely got to be like a stat for, international standards, right? In a final. Oh, there we go. Ronski finds Noz. Hey, okay. Game's done.
It's on.
Yeah, just kidding. Anyway, straight into the side. This is what Ronski did over in APAC. He was able to take control of that site time and time again, straight through to B, utilizing the tailwind, maybe a cloudburst, but now it's going to be a 4-on-5 on this retake, and a tough one again to fight and a tough pill to swallow.
Yeah, gotta be the protectors right now. Order. Shock Dart is gonna be missing with Maple finding Scrolls, but it's Sova diff, and now it is time for Komodo to get back into this. There's a couple of members that aren't even around the site at the moment. Yeah, but they do have two guarding lights, so we'll see what Signed is going to be able to do to throw into the mix. Through the wall, and the bird will actually expire, so that's quite unfortunate. Good reveals. Maple, Disco, RDW, everybody getting a piece of the pie, and the pistol round goes the way of Order.
There you go. Order have got the job done. It was off the back of Ronski's entry in towards B, and I think Bobo, again, now they have to sort of be confident. They cannot let this one get through to them. And, you know, show us that they have more what it takes in these gun rounds, in these buy opportunities. So just the gentle investment. RDW still holding on to that Ghost. He's going to be able to pick up the Marshall. And, yeah, look, a pretty convincing looking second round. We do see Scroll invest in slightly. Shorty for Signed. And he's actually going to toy with that one. Yep, no, maybe yes. Okay, no. It's just going to be the classics. And just hope that Scroll can find some potential damage with this Marshall.
Well, you've also got the Headhunter for Dragon, so when anything can be required to go above and beyond, maybe it is this man, but he needs to be breathing fire in towards this map. It was a little bit silent the previous, and
Disco's ready for it.
Disco's ready for it. There's an open A site. It is just the second round. You know, it should go Order's way, but we want to see something come through maybe from the boys over in
Texas
Bobo.
got the spike.
Yes. That is a great observation.
I just realized that. Yeah. He's going to get out. It's fine. I like it. Like, his position obviously was just like sitting back, making sure, you know, sitting from the window, see if they look to peek the orb. They do. He does the damage, gets a dink. So, like, his position is fine. It's good. But, yeah, to not have the spike over towards the A side, a little bit of a predicament, but it's okay. 5 alive, still looking healthy.
The funny thing is as well, even though Bobo know that the spike is going over towards A, they don't really care because they got lesser weaponry. They're just trying to bait somebody into the trap over at B.
Spike planted.
Damage is all they can hope for.
Standing ahead.
On the bridge. A little look. Disco some further damage. Texter also with some more. 0 points to come through, but unfortunately, there's going to be members going down. It's going to be a complete clean 5 alive, and a Scroll's got a nice shot behind him. I think it's actually rather going to be a fall away. Good flash drive out. So yeah, 5 alive, great bonus, great position. Scroll's going to have lesser cash too. So he's just going to have to go for the light shield here into this round, and obviously no utility to kind of back it up. So 2 Vandals for Ronski and Maple. This is a really, really dangerous looking bonus by Komodo.
Something I forgot to mention as well, actually, is the fact that Bobo are running the duelistless comp because they got 3 initiators, right? Sova, Sky, and KO. Then you got a Chamber, which is your pseudo-duelist, I guess you would say, and Noz on that Viper. But again, you gotta remember, everyone can do gun shooting, and you can even play KO like a duelist sometimes, so it's okay. But yeah, first gun round to come out. First purchase for Bobo. Dragon already trying to get a little bit dire in the case right now, but maybe it is dire that he's dead.
Nah, it pays off. I'm okay with that. That was a good result. Nice hacks getting a couple. Exactly what you need to be seeing in this bonus. A clean and concise round. Just basically now all you can do is ensure that Texter doesn't find much. Like, he can potentially get 2 1v1s here. A spike plant. That's going to be scary. There's the first. Second. 2 1v1s. Komodo, hey! Texter, you're doing one of these rounds where you're actually making it look winnable, my friend. Straight through the double doors.
You don't win a 1 versus 4. You lose a 4 versus 1. Is Texter going to show us a masterclass of how to play post-plan lineups now on a Viper?
Yep.
Maybe. He's been spotted out. They know exactly what's happening. They're going to have to try and go through. Noz is on for the hunt right now. And Sign is probably going to get on toward the deep.
Timing!
No. He's looked the wrong way.
Damn it, Texter. Why'd you have to not look? I was excited for you to win that one. Those are the rounds you want to see. Great post-plant utility, but they knew exactly what he was doing. It was the Trailblazer from Sign that got the info.
Yeah.
So awesome stuff there. But still, look, I guess Texter did well to break the economy somewhat for Bobo. So they're going to have to reinvest. 3 alive is the ultimate position, because then you can get a couple of drops over. But this time it's only going to be 2 drops and a bit of an awkward purchase in for one of the members. It looks like Nice Hacks has taken that one. Signed and Noz can drop over for Scroll and Dragon. I mean, Dragon's like not too far away from the tour de force. He's got to do a bit of work in these next couple of rounds, but for now it's just going to be the Vandals. Guardian for Scroll, actually.
Oh, it's a good gun. Like, not gonna lie. If what I found about the Guardian, and people can rebuttal this if they want, if you're having a bad day spraying on a Vandal or Phantom, pick that up because it'll force you not to spray.
Exactly right. That was the reason Mr. Crunchy used to always pick that bad boy up. And also Swirly Boy.
Magnet Brain goes absolutely above and beyond too.
Yeah, well, look,
Man's a
Magnet
beast.
Brain a god, okay?
Weapons. Speaking of weapons, Ronski is using one of those as well as himself. One away from the Blade Storm as he's trying to just dance around this B side at the moment. Keep it in the control for the moment to make sure his team can get in towards this site. Maple able to find one as well as Disco. Noz was able to find Ronski in the trade, but maybe a little bit too late as he is the last soldier alive. And he's on a single point in HP, but he manages to find Disco. 1 HP, 1 versus 4, and a big dream. Could you imagine?
Unfortunately, I can't. It's just so far away. Like, Ronski's done exactly the Ronski thing, which was head towards that B site. You know, he's there completely solo, actually. I think the only thing is Noz might get caught up by the mid position of Maple, but it doesn't look like it. He's actually dropped back in to the nest, falling away into spawn now. So Noz is hopefully just going to be able to drag this weapon over into the next round. Not really much he can do. So it was a good, you know, fight into the bonus, but this is just, you know, back to business for Order. They've done the deal, invested accordingly. Now they're going to walk away with 3 alive, 3 weapons, and, you know, starting to stack up that economy, which is exactly what they need.
Yeah.
RDW still has the operator. You know, they just need to be nice and consistent here, Order, and you know, not look for one big fish, but in fact a couple of smaller ones where they can feed the full family.
No, exactly right. And of course, Texter, he really wants this frag because he'll get his Viper's Pit on the back of it. Not to mention he'll take another gun away from Noz, and now it needs to be a pre-fire. He finds it. Okay, Noz. Now he's one away from the pit, which you could push and get an orb through the shop, through the B side as well. But I don't know, I feel like Breeze is just not safe orbs for the defenders. Anyways. Order, Mitch, they have started very, very well on this attacker side. A pistol round, the secondary one, they drop the bonus, but they make it very competitive. And now they pick up that first gun round and now forcing it into another one where you've got a couple of marshals in the mix as well. Nice Hacks, he does have the ultimate of the Null Command available as well, but you've got even more ultimates from Order, so I dare say this might be fast over towards the A side.
Looks like it.
It's a little bit faster.
Straight off the start. Nice Hack stuck back. Info gathered, at least. 0 Point catches a couple. Now that line, very important for Nice Hacks to pick it up. Has to fall away, and it's going to be the Hunter's Fury as well. So Maple actually gets a tag up. Good response, though, from Sign. Ronski, a bit of a bold statement there to walk up the pipe with just an operator in hand, but it's okay. We do settle now in the 4-on-3. Advantage still going the way of Order. RDW can move forward. The Seekers come out as well, so quite a big investment here to come through once more.
Oh, no,
great fragment once more. Huge from Nice Hacks. Love to see it. Line up Larry's coming in good. Noz, only 1.5. Texted low. Now they can pop back onto that snake bite, and I think, no, Texas run out. Okay, so it's going to be a little awkward here in this 2-on-2. Have to hold the line. They have to hope. It's the shot darts, and a good shot from Nice Hacks. Now they just have to stick it. One of them has to make the decision. Can Maple find the shot? He cannot. So that is going to be Bobo getting back. And that round, I got to admit, was a little bit scrappy on both accords. But irrespective, great flank in from Bobo and good composure to close the round.
Yeah, double flank to come out from Bobo in the end as well. And the damage that was delivered was kind of the required part, right? I mentioned that there was no rendezvous for RDW. Now, if those watching missed it, the fragment that Nice Hacks threw, you know, the one that lands on the spike there, banking off the wall, it broke RDW's rendezvous, and he was sticking with the operator to try and find the challenge. Fragment kills him, and it means that it makes it like go time for Bobo to start to really get that retake happening. No protection on the spike with the Null Command being popped, which means that, you know, anyone playing close has no abilities, of course, and you try to play post plant with shock darts and with snake bites. They're already gone. So it was a really well-placed retake to come out from Bobo. But now it's Order turning up the heat through the holes, the Null Command and the Blade Storm, and that that's some spaghetti blades.
Oh, God, it reminds me of Clutchy being both the best and worst in the server at the simultaneous time. You'd love to see it. Ronski, an absolute god, but unfortunately Dare does miss the mark, and his rest of his team picks up regardless. This is not one that you want to be losing if you're Bobo right now, Komodo. Oh, what is happening? Okay, everyone's packed up. Everyone's gone home.
Okay, the Viper's Pit's down, so Order should still be winning this round. I'm going to... there's something I want to talk about at the end of this. Viper's Pit here, so Sign is trying to see what he can do with the death, apparently, right now, because he got on the Trailblazer and Maple found that one out. The shots from Noz, he's trying to see if he can get the angle toward the Bricks player right now, but Maple is just going to tuck in, get away from this position, and well, he does get decapitated. It does mean that Texter on his retreat is going to be able to survive with the gun as well. But what I want to say, the Blade Storms were missing. Dragon went down onto the stairs after like the metal door was open, and I think he missed a shot to where he died from Disco as well. I don't even know what to make of that round.
Oh, look, it's all memes, right? Like, no jokes, only jokes here, rather. Like, that was just a scrappy round. Nobody can be criticized there. It's just a funny thing to witness, as we do witness as the, observer-caster combo. We don't get to see what the players get to see. But it's always a funny moment to see there. Another scrappy round, I guess, is all we can sort of say. Like, it seems to be manic. It's been, a long day so far. 4 maps that we are actually into here. Order looking to take it 3-1, but if we end up going 2-2, then we've got a sense around the corner, and that stamina certainly comes into play. But now it's back to stock standard, exactly what Ronski does best. Cloud burst down, site taken, tailwind in, rather. And now he's looking to take some further control up towards the CT's position.
Yep, and it's going to be one of these weird 5 versus 5 retakes again, where Texter, he doesn't have access to the pit, used it in the previous round. RDW, 1 away from the Tour de Force. If he has access for that in the next round, that's pretty good as well. But it is the lesser weaponry for Bobo. Maybe you just want to see the operator for Signs be kept into the next round, and for Scroll to go and die so he gets his Hunter's Fury. There are a couple of bits there, but they're going to try and tempt fate and go at it. Some good timing from Ronski on the peek through the wall, but again, this time is just really ticking away too far. Ronski is just having their number. Texter to get the last as well, and yeah, Bobo feeling a little flat at the moment for them again, Conky. We seemingly keep falling on toward it. They did force in that round, remember? So it means they've got nothing to play with in this next round. And I think at this point in time, a pause would be good.
Mate, we needed the pause 2 maps ago and a bit of a conversation back then. Maybe I don't really know how to sort of pattern it down, right? Like, you think about all the members except for Ronski's a tough call on it, and RDW the same, because while both of them had histories in a different FPS title, you go back to Texter, Disco, and Maple, right? They've all got hella experience, on LAN, off LAN, all the kind of stuff from very, very long periods of time. Whereas whilst Noz and Sign have exactly that, maybe some of the other players, like, for example, Dragon, need a bit more time in the oven, the hyperbolic training chamber to, get that experience back, where they can keep their composure in high-pressure environments, which is exactly what Order's doing right now. You go into a map favorite of theirs, and you let Ronski just continue to push through every which way with no control of it. It goes back to Haven, where Ronski was punished almost every round, and now he's doing the punishing almost every round.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just another one of these rounds where you've got the protocols from Order that you need to see them do it just to make sure that they've got the confidence to continue. The gun barrel there from Maple was tempting for nice hacks, as you'd expect, but it's a nice shot. See if we can get any more damage here. The rendezvous for RDW, but yeah, the protocols is the big thing for Order. You need to make sure that they're just exercising the fundamentals, making it look very clean, because that's one of the big things. If it continues like this, it bodes well for the international prospects for them to get back there as well and look good. Yeah. And
that's all they want. That's all they want. They Order have come back disappointed with their result. Like, we're not, right? You get to see a team get a big win off take a big scalp off Oasis, put the pressure on Paper X. It didn't go as close as we kind of would have hoped, right? But then you remember how good Paper X are and how easily they won the entire thing. And then to have a reasonably close series against Boom, I definitely sort of think we could have, beaten out Boom there. So there's moments where I think we can actually see Order take that experience, come back home, recollect, and then go and do it again. And that's exactly what they're fighting for here, where Bobo had the different perspective where they can actually watch everything that Order's doing, constantly look down at counter-stratting them and try and work them all out, but they haven't been able to do that in this series at all, outside of Haven, and it's basically slipped out of their hands slowly ever since. And it's kind of always that thing you think about when the pressure starts to catch up to what we're seeing in Bobo, they lose the control, and they need to reset it earlier than what we're seeing in a timeout. Yeah. 8 rounds into Breeze.
Well, at least the timeout has been used and not wasted, right? So they'll be able to have a bit of a discussion. And you can always use those little eco rounds as a free timeout as well. So I do wonder if they use them, probably. But again, yeah, it kind of is feeling a little bit flat for Bobo. Hopefully they're able to get back in towards this this new round and really start to get activated on this defensive side. Otherwise, Order are going to run away with it. And starting off with the Viper's Pit at this A site is a good deterrent to stop Order from going over to this side of the map. But already, you got Ronski pushing through the elbow. He's found Scroll. It's an opening pick. And
got a Dragon.
Yeah, maybe there's a trade in it from Signs. He needs another to give confidence, though, to Bobo.
Texter, though, on up. Sign spotted, but gets the catch. Very nice result. Now, Nicehack's actually going to hear the pitter-patter of the footsteps here. Disco, does he flash through? Does he walk dry? He walks dry, but it's a crouch. This man squats 150 on the back. He's able to cruise on in at no doms at all. As now with this Viper's Pit, Maple has to walk into it, though. That's the awkward sort of position right now.
He's going to sniff him out. It's the standard sort of position.
Spot.
It's just going to come down to timing for Noz. Oh, and he's moving as well. But they don't need to contend with it. They can go for the plan on the other side of the pyramids. They are trying to hunt for him, though. Noz, this is your territory. And you've dropped the pit as well. Oh, I understand the idea of why you try and elect to do so, but it's just a bit unfortunate. Disco is able to find the closure as well. And that's going to be at least a half now gathered out by Order.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely love that. Like, the spike inside cave. Normally, you would see teams just try to be like, oh, God, we have to push through the Viper's Pit, but they just wait and let the rest of the team do it on the opposing side of the map. It was almost like they were the defenders in that position there. But irrespective, you know, they're all operating as exactly they need. You know, I guess the craziest thing is, like, RDW, you're not going to call him quiet because he hasn't underperformed by any means. It just means that the rest of his team is doing exactly what they need. Maple's been fantastic. Ronski's finally activated. And then Big Boy Disco is doing exactly what you need your KO to do. Not only creating space for the utility, but, you know, finding the frags as well. So super strong player. Very good.
I think if RDW turned his camera on, he'd have +5 power.
Cams make it better for us, ladies and gentlemen, watching along at home, just as a reminder.
Well, speaking about Cams, he's the lad leading the charge over on Order's side right now. So, yeah, absolutely love to see it running in with the KO at the moment. And this holes control that Ronski's trying to establish and hold down is being safeguarded by the member that we mentioned there at RDW, right? So, again, these fundamentals, these protocols are looking pretty good from this side of Order. And now they're realizing that they want to go over towards the B side from everything that they've heard and seen. There is that wall. Signed is going to be here to at least try and assist his teammates. But are they going to be able to hold us down? That is the big question.
Yeah, awkward now with that Hunter's Fury coming through. Didn't get the tag. I think we actually see Disco spotting out Sign. Scrawl's there at least for the trade quick enough. But look at this position from Cheeky Ronski. Now Dragon also in an awkward spot. RDW's ready to drop down the vents, mate. This is crazy.
He's called the audible to go back towards the A side at the moment. And Nicehack is going to get caught out by Ronski. This is just a battle of Ronski's timing at the moment. Now Maple on the line, but the Guardian of Noz is going to get the better of him. A 2 versus 3 scenario, 20 seconds. The spike eventually going to make its way into the A site. Ronski to tailwind out of there. Trademark will get him, but he's going to drop down. Will he be able to find Dragon? No, he won't. It's 2 versus 2 now, Conky, but you've got to remember, old mate Noz is very, very low in HP.
Teleport's ready.
Yeah, absolutely. This is going to be all eyes on Dragon right now as he can open the door. RDW set up poised with the operator there looking deep in towards spawn, but Dragon's moving through. Doors will be taken by Noz. How are they going to do it? How are they going to collect this round? Because there's just so much time already burned. The spike ticking away. He's going to be caught, I think, already. And now the snake bite can go down. They're fully aware. They've got all the information. And that's a shot from RDW. It's absolutely clinical, tried and tested from Breeze for Order. And yeah, again, this is where, I guess, instead of being able to continue to push down on this fact that Bobo are asleep right now, we can move it and start to shift to remind you all that this is Order looking to book themselves another ticket to go international and represent our region as the best in the business.
Yep, no, that's exactly what we want to be seeing, mate. Get back onto the international scale. Can I English, please, today? That'll be very good. Get back onto the international stage and, you know, try and tackle against the teams that, you know, they won against last time. Ones that they didn't win against, you know, boom, they've got another chance potentially at. So we'll have to wait and see if they can really make way. Because imagine a world, right? And it's very, very possible. Order at champions, folks. That's what we want to hype up.
Absolutely. You know, and the teams that are already taking those spots historically from APAC, you know, are really, really nasty at the game. So Order doing that, we get eyes back on Oceania exactly as we need, but our eyes are at least on Bobo in this round. Getting their way back in, rotation, RDW should be able to catch this one. Actually gets away in the end. Disco peeks on through, dropping down Nicehack. So I was going to say that's a fantastic rendezvous in the end from RDW. Once again, you know, just keeping the focus and not allowing them to sort of get any further control. Disco's going to get 3 here.
Oh, wow.
How good is that? 9 for Disco, or 9 rounds for Order rather, off the back of the 3K from Disco.
Dot crosshair, all 3 headshots makes it look very, very easy. There's just something about Valorant and dot crosshairs that players, you know, just get absolutely electric with it. But 9 rounds on the board. Again, I get the feeling that nothing is phasing Order. You know, we've seen over the course of the previous couple of maps that there were a lot of those rounds that kind of made them sweat a bit, right? And in this map right now, I feel like they're not even having a little bit of a drip on their brow. It's just very well measured from them. Positions are perfect for a lot of the players, regardless of it's 5 versus 5 in the first 3 seconds or if it's 2 versus 2 in the last 10 seconds. Everything is looking really, really well placed for Order.
This is their home, their place. Ronski, this time not pushing on in. With the null command popped by Disco, so looking to try and find that fight, but Ronski does find Signed. And again, you know, getting the early pick that is desperately needed. Nice Hack's great response, but he can't quite hit the second shot. Maple will respond, will punish 2 members over towards B, and only 1 rotating in. Scroll has to try and do it all, and Maple jumping up high. He does miss the shot, so there is an opportunity to at least get back in, but that's going to be the pit pop RDW already on this flank.
He doesn't need to move.
Oh, man, yeah, he doesn't. He could just hold this line continually. Noz is going to walk straight into it, and that's RDW getting the shot. Dragon also going to meet the same fate, and it is going to be a 10-2 half here, Komodo. Nothing they can do.
Wow.
This is Order in their comfort zone, and once again, you know, looking to be your Oceanic APAC representatives.
Yeah, no, this is absolutely clinical for Order right now as well. You know, the map that we saw them, or the match rather, against Fun Crew the other day, where it was Breeze first and then Icebox second. That Breeze halftime scoreline was 7-5, right? So already a 10-2 is a monstrous amount better than a 7 towards 5. It's what? A pistol round here, you're probably having to force if you are the side of Bobo to try and win in regulation, or if you don't force and you drop that, you got guns, you have to find 10 in a row to get it in towards overtime. It's just such a daunting prospect for Bobo right now. Like, a lot of this map probably hindered on rounds a couple ago, but now that we're past that, if they drop pistol here, yeah, I don't really foresee a way back into it, to be honest with you.
It's only going to be 6 of 8. If they are unsuccessful here, maybe they continue the trend and do find 7. But irrespective, Ronski,
Teleport's gone.
how's he going to look? RDW up so close, gets a great pick here, and does narrowly miss that flick on a sign, but he wants to try and find the fight. There's Ronski straight through, gets one. Noz trading, adding to his extreme amount of pistol round frags. But he's going to go down to the shock dart, perfectly placed by Maple. And that is going to be, 6 from 8 for the side of Bobo. Every single map, they have slipped further and further away. So maybe, again, it is that stamina thing, that mental game where we do need to see the continued stability. And I guess, perfect sort of, moment for Senpai to step in and really sort of amp up the boys.
Yeah, there needs to be a massive change coming over towards Bobo right now. Almost a different team, you know. Get your brothers off the computer and get back on toward this one, boys. Get back in towards what we were witnessing in map number 1 on Haven. But 11-2, I mentioned that if the pistol went towards Order, that it would have to be Bobo forcing to have any semblance of a way back in toward this game. And a good shot from Dragon to start things off. Noz has been seen, so if he can find RDW, it would be huge, but it's only going to be damaged. Signed onto Ronski, Maple for a trade to Dragon. And these left, right, and center positions right now from Order spread around does actually give a way for Bobo to win this round here, Conky. Another frag to their merit. And it's just Disco and RDW lurking around. See if they can recover this. And the answer is no. These headshot marshals are something special.
Disco going to go big. Pops the shot. That's actually a really cool dart. I love that. Noz on the flank, though.
I guess he didn't intend for that dart to go there. He wanted it to land at the doors, surely.
Nah, man, that's big brain. You're never going to count him out there, all right? That was all intended, 100%. NA shock dart, all right? Big brain.
All right,
but,
well.
Okay, last moment, last ditch. You know, they're back in. They've opened up the door a little bit. I mean, Order's definitely, keeps trying to shut the door, and their foot's getting crushed slowly. No, I will not listen to your speech, but... it's still just at least something for Bobo, something to exit with some strength. We cannot see them just roll over and die in a series like this. Definitely looking up to be that sort of second best in the region. We've obviously got Fun Crew, we've got Honey Badgers looking great. You know, Rain is a team that I think with a little bit more work can look good too. Just need some more time with Minimize at the helm. But
oh, this is risky for Dragon.
Order looking so good.
No, it's even better for Dragon now because the bait has been pulled away from Scroll, but those are classic things. Free gun, by the way, again. And Texter, one of his own. So this damage coming through for Order in this round, but you really need to see Bobo hold on to the weaponry from here on out. That's a good shot from Cyan through the smoke. Timing, flick, footsteps. Man's got that super audio. And yeah, RDW, I mean, you'll see what you can do with the classic, my good sir, but for this round, it is probably Bobo's.
Playing with no respect, Order, but this time they're getting punished for it, which is good.
He can get the Bulldog.
Spike planted.
Yeah, not a bad result. All right. So Artie on the flank, spotted. Not punished yet, but now they know where he is, so at least they can play around the rest of the round. I think RDW is just going to save this into the next. How's their cash looking, Komodo? That's probably going to be the big one. They've got the full buy coming around the corner. And I suppose for Bobo, they probably just want to reinvest on the back of it as well. You know, not just hang around with these marshals. They know that it's a do or die moment. So I mean, maybe we'll see them reinvest.
They'll be able to play with a couple of Benjamins in the next round, so that's good. Enough to get them guns, which is the big thing.
So maybe damage here is the name of the game for RDW, and that's exactly what he's done. Dragon also, information gathered. I don't think he's going to be looking... Oh, turns away, actually. Nice, should be able to spot him.
No way.
No. Oh, God, that's rough.
That's not fully
again, we talk about the cash money situation. At least Dragon was the one with the lowest amount of money. So they're all going to be fine. They'll have another investment into that final round as well. So this is the moment where Bobo can look to at least show us that they've still got what it takes for a couple of rounds. What was the previous map result? Was it 13-8 in the end?
On Icebox, 13-7.
Yeah, 13-7. Yeah, so just slow dwindle. You know, 13-8 win, 10-13 loss, 7-13 loss. And what are we looking at here? You know, so I guess that's where Bobo can at least look back. Even if they are unsuccessful here, they've got something where they know that they can work forward on it.
Well, we've got one away from the Tour de Force for Dragon, so maybe they want to utilize that as well. Oh, that would have been a big pick for RDW. Now they're going to try and overwhelm him at the B site, and he's going to call for some assistance from his teammate in Disco, sorry. But yeah, as you say, they're going. It's kind of been halted a little bit by that fragment. The operator shot from RDW caught out on an island at the moment. Trailblazer in, going to be stunning up Disco as well. So the thing's going well for Bobo. It certainly is looking all right at the moment. The plant will start to get established as Dragon finds Disco and Ronski. He's going to have to try and do something big. That gets shut down, and now the flank is the last bit of positioning that Order have that wasn't seen. Now it is, and it might just be the save, to be honest with you.
You a believer?
Hey, I said I like Smash Mouth.
Yeah, maybe. This is me again, huffing that copium. Let's have a good series. Let's have a good map. Let's see Bobo drag it back, and they're doing that so far. Looks like we will see maybe Maple save. Texter should be. He's far enough away. Maple's hearing a lot of footsteps. Scrolls going to walk straight into it, but now they know exactly where he is. Texter going to save his teammate, though. Very well played. Good synergy.
This damage is really, really bad for Bobo, though, because now it kind of forces Dragon to have the Tour de Force, and everybody else, I mean, they'll still have win money, so they'll be able to get, you know, a purchase in toward this next round, but it just gives more confidence for Order to be able to close it out soon, because these kills...
It's their buy to defend the 12th Komodo. That's the thing, right? It's their buy that they had in the back pocket. If they lost to take it to 12, they still had another, but if Order can just keep the economy strong, it's scary.
If Order can keep their economy strong, you reckon? Well, they are kind of marching their way in towards the Force in this round, so I get the feeling that they're going to try and bully Bobo, which, I mean, to their credit, they keep getting all these kills at the later stages of the rounds on these exits. It makes it a little bit more promising. A lot of players on the Order roster are very close towards their ultimates as well, so it can be quite devastating for Bobo if they are losing against those ultimates when they don't have any other weaponry to really contend with, so... We'll wait and see in that regard, but it's a big lean over towards the B site, and it looks like an execution now from Bobo.
Yeah. Feel like they want to go in. Utility will keep them at bay for now, but there's that guiding light. Texter caught up. The guiding light goes over the top again, but maybe a little bit too far. There's 2, 3 for Texter. Here we go. The captain, he is activating, and he's even looking for the AC at Komodo. Will he find it? No, RDW will steal it, but it's not going to matter because Texter's a monster as the Viper will strike down.
Yeah, don't come into his house. They haven't contended with him really over at that B side at the moment. Last time it was the stalling to come through from Disco throwing that fragment and RDW looking from the back ledge.
Look at him on the camera. He's so happy.
It's what you want to see, man. They're one round away from going overseas again, Conky. Would you not be excited?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Give me that analysis now. I cut you off.
Yeah, don't go into B when Tex is there.
Yeah, basically. Exactly right. He's locked it down beyond anything. And as Senpai's called for that pause, you know, I think still important to do it, even though it is that last round, even though it's potentially going home. You know, at least they're giving it their all. They're making sure it's serious. They're making sure that they are still certainly a competitor in this. And, you know, the one thing that has made me happy over the last few months is the fact that we are seeing it change. We are seeing it shift to a moment where it's not only Order absolutely dumpstering on everyone. You know, they make mistakes. They are mortal and they are human for sure. But they're our humans and they are the ones that are one round away from booking several tickets to an undisclosed Asian location for a big boy competition.
Indeed, that is the way.
Anyone have thank you?
Indeed, that is the way. 12-5. We've seen a couple of rounds here for Bobo. Is it just a last-ditched effort to get a couple of extra kills, a couple of extra rounds before ultimately bidding the farewell from them? Look, maybe, but now we're in a couple of ultimates in the mix. Texter's ripped out the pit over at the A site. Ronski's holding W, so he's got his sneakers on, but now he's being sat down. Alicia's tied. And the score gets one. He is traded. Maple on the Hunter's Fury. Disco as well. Things are, you know, they're going back and forward. Christmas lights in the kill feed and what have you, but Order, they're still holding. They're still got the control.
Are they going to do it? Final moment. Final chance for Bobo. 3-on-3. It's almost like still trying to kick this forward. Maple, he's gone. And with that pit obviously about to go down, you know, it's the impact that is being held here that's pulled them away on that rotation. But with that rotation, Komodo, they're not aware at all. Disco, if he gets the pick here, it could mean something, but now they've got the info. Now they know exactly where he is, but Noz actually still continues to go in. Texas spotted the spike, but no, it's not the spike, it's the dragon. Who has breathed the fiery breath here. Now spotted Disco. He's got all the moment to do it himself. It'll be eyes on him. It'll be a jumping out of the chairs moment. He's got a cross, but no, it's not going to happen. It is Dragon to continue to keep Bobo alive.
Okay, another round over toward the side of Bobo, and with the monetary value of Order still looking pretty pristine, it does mean they're going to be able to go at it again. Ronski's going to be on toward the Blade Storm, but everybody else has the weaponry to contend with properly. Noz with the pit, nice hacks with the Null Command, and Scroll one away from the Hunter's Fury. I mean, you've got to be using these ultimates to try and secure the rounds, right? You need 6 in a row to get this in towards OT, man. So again, it is, you know, the climbing of the mountain for Bobo. They didn't have the correct gear a couple of rounds ago to be able to do so nicely, but now they're starting to go up. You know, they got a couple of those, what do you call them, stakes to throw in toward the mountain. But Ronski has found some space, and the space has been taken back.
Yeah, a little shaky, unfortunately, there from those blades from Ronski. Not quite connecting, but Maple does get a response at least. Also, somewhat low is going to be this member of Sign, so it's awkward, but at least Scroll gets one back. A dink over the top. That's the classic 145 in one, as Nice Hacks is going to be able to take him down as well. So upsetting, but look, Texter, he's on this lurk, he's on this flank, and he has got a Vandal in hand, Komodo.
The regrowth was
used. Is he going to be able to find anything?
Oh, he's denied the plant. There's a minute to go, so it's okay. The pit is still here. Courtesy of the regrowth, it does mean that Noz has more HP to play with the pit. They have the safety of a Hunter's Fury, but it's going to be vulnerable if Scroll does try to rip it out. And look at this, 2 separate angles. Texter, IDW trying to bully their way back into the B side. IDW this time, the pit's down.
Pit down.
Now it does have to almost be Scroll to try and make this survive. He's found the first one onto IDW, and Texter 2 1 versus 1s. There's the first. He's not realizing that Scroll is on the other side of the site, and he finds it. Texter, take a bow. The 1 versus 2. You're holding your teammate's hand in IDW. Now, this time, it's time to put him on the plane. Folks, Order have found the victory, and they have won the VOT Oceanic Champs.
Man, look at this guy, a stone cold gaze. He does not give a damn. He's booked his team a ticket to, again, overseas, to Asia, and now he's happy. Now the little cheeky dance comes on in. It's beautiful. We get to see it. But my word, Texter, Probably our MVP of this entire grand final, I would say. The man has played an incredible game. And again, to be able to do that as the captain, the longest and only sole standing member of the original Order roster, lives on. You know, he lost his mate in Tux a little while ago, but he kept the boy in Disco, and now they brought on a few extras as well, and they are looking absolutely fantastic. So they're going to be our representatives once more over at the APAC LCQ, which is a qualification spot for for Valorant Champions, the biggest event of the year in the world. And I'm not sure exactly how that's going to sort of work, but irrespective, it's $11,000 into the pockets of Order. And again, I'm sure a happy Order camp as well. But yeah, an incredible result, Komodo, and I'm super happy to have been a part of it.
Yep, map number 1 goes the way of Bobo here, and you're starting to think like, okay, maybe we've got some competition on our hands, but it kind of does start to fall away, you know, from 13 to 10 in the first map to Bobo to 13 to 10 over towards Order in the second map. And then from there, it's like the roller coaster just kept speeding up for them, right? Everybody started to activate on the side of Order, and whilst you do have a couple of maps there where you got some players not really performing the greatest consistently, they still had their elements of what they needed to do in these maps, and it was absolutely wonderful to be able to witness for Order there. And mate, as you mentioned, $11,000 to go into their pockets, and that golden ticket back overseas.
Absolutely, and I do want to give some credit to Bobo as well, where his credit is due. They've made their way through that upper bracket, and you know, whilst Order obviously did lose to Fun Crew in the early start, big shouts to them, big shout to every team that did compete in this event. Bobo, you know, they've sweated it out. They've showed us that they are here to fight for the death to make it over to those international spots. But yeah, look, you know, still some time to work on in the oven. A team that definitely lost their steam from the get-go, and to have Order win it out 3-1 is absolutely phenomenal. But I do believe we have a cheeky little Ronski on the microphone to have a chat with us all about the victory. My God, mate, how does it feel to be going back overseas again?
Pretty good. Honestly, we got some unfinished business, so we are really excited to go back and hopefully, you know, just do a lot better.
Okay.
I'll touch quickly, Komodo, before we really dive into it, because I do want my first question to be about the previous experience, Ronski, that you had overseas. How was that for you, especially being, you know, I'm sure your first time sort of at an event of that caliber, and how are you feeling about the results when you had it come through?
Well, going over, like, we were doing pretty well in scrims, but scrims obviously don't mean much. I felt really confident. I was able to do what I do here over there. Sorry, what was the second part of the question? I'm like you know, trying to process that we just
how were you happy with the result when you're coming back, I guess? Like, were you happy with how you went, or do you think you've got some more work to put in?
No, we've 100% got more work to put in, and I don't think the result reflected what we should have been.
No, fair enough. I guess I got 2 questions here, so I'll ask the first one and then the second one. Number 1, you dropped the first map to Bobo. What did you guys figure out you had to do after that one specifically, besides the pistol rounds?
Well, we have like a little thing going on the team. After we lost that first map, we're like, all right, boys, let's just play like scrims, play like scrims. That's what we did, just played it like scrims. We're just scrim warriors, honestly.
No, fair enough. And I guess the second question as well, you know, we heard from Texter yesterday in the interview with Pilsky that, you know, you guys at Camp Order are kind of shuffling, you know, players and agents and everything again. We've seen that rendition before. Without giving away too much, of course, do you guys feel like you have enough time between now and going back overseas to kind of really fine-tune a bunch of these changes? Or do you think, you know, there might still be elements where you have to go through with the rosters and the agent selections we've seen time and time again?
No, I think there is plenty of enough time, but the problem would be just finding scrims back in OCE. I think the most likely thing we're going to do is just fly over the early boot camp, mold into our new roles in agents and all that. Like, we barely had any playtime over here. I haven't played much Raze or Chamber ever since I got back. I barely played the game, for us to be honest. But yeah, there's 100% enough time.
Nah, awesome.
All right. Well, last question to close it out, Ronski, before you do go over. Is there anything that we haven't seen yet from Order that you're going to be unleashing when you're overseas?
Oh, just this deadly laugh.
Beautiful, mate. Well, look, we're going to let you go and celebrate with the boys. Enjoy, mate, and cannot wait to see you overseas. We'll be all cheering you on, buddy.
All right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Have a good one.
There we go. Heard from the man himself. Very humble to come back after, you know, the previous run overseas, you know, to say that, you know, scrims obviously mean something, but, you know, that's not going to convert over into results. So I think there seems to be some good mental in camp order right there, and exactly what they're going to be needing to drag over. And, you know, kind of they've had a result. They saw, you know, they got the opening win against Oasis, down to the Titans in Paper X, and then only just narrowly losing out to Boom. So I think they've definitely got a vision of what it looks like to make it further in that next level of competition and certainly make it through to those playoffs.
Yeah, no, of course, we've seen, you know, a couple of different teams and different players coming over throughout the VOT history right now this year and get overseas, right? Of course, RDW, now this makes it ×3 international Valorant events, of course, you know, first being with Bonkers. Now it's going to be twice with Order, so we're going to be very keen to see what he's going to be able to do again in that international stage. And for Order, back over there, everyone from stage 1 to stage 2 to now champions, that means the VOT Valorant Oceania Tour for this year, Conky, is done.
It's done for now, but what is not done is watching the Oceanic representatives take on the Titans of APAC. So whenever it does happen, keep tuned to the socials of Order, of the players, and work out exactly what they're going to be up to over the next few weeks, because whatever it's going to be electric, it's going to be exciting, and I hope to see you all watching that event. Thank you so much for being a part of the Valorant Oceanic Tour. We've been Komodo, and we'll see you next time. Take care.